now.
We have 16 SEC teams. They had 5 wide receivers, sometimes more, on the injury report almost every week. It'll be interesting to see how healthy they are at that position for this week's game.
Jackson Arnold is 13th in terms of yards per game. Now, he has not played every game. He's only played 8 of their 10 games. The one thing I'll say about Jackson Arnold, though, Lance, he hasn't turned it over a ton. 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's not just spitting out interceptions like Garrett Nussmeier has now thrown 11. Carson Beck has thrown 12. He's been better in those terms.
Yeah, if you watch Oklahoma, their biggest problem is their offensive line. Got to get that fixed. It's pretty crazy because they were known for having really good offensive lines for a long time.
They were really good quarterback play, and both of them have struggled a little bit this year, maybe go hand in hand. And the injuries at wide receiver. Injury reports out tonight. It'll be interesting to see what Oklahoma's look like. I would say this. For a moment in Oxford, Oklahoma, with the return of Jackson Arnold, played a good Ole Miss team step for step for about 3 quarters.
They were right in that game. I mean, that game felt like upset in the making against Oklahoma or against Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss put their foot down, and it was not the same in the second half. But that was Jackson Arnold, maybe the best game he's played at Oklahoma. This guy has just been not what we thought. They've had to make a quarterback change. They've gone back to Arnold. I think that's the right call there, but it feels like if this Oklahoma offense, as Venables just said, is incrementally increasing in their improvement, incrementally improving, the Alabama defense is improving at a far greater rate right now, it feels like.
I've just got this feeling. Like, I think Jackson Arnold's going to be really, really good. I've got a feeling, though, that this might be it at Oklahoma for him.
Could be. There was a moment during Nick Saban's time that you could count on Jackson Arnold having a career game.
Why is that?
Because there was, every time Alabama seemed like they played an opponent, it was a career game for Steven Garcia if they were going to pull the upset. It would take a career game from Jackson Arnold, as Grayson is saying, for them to pull the upset. So you hope that trend of upsets with Nick Saban, somebody having a career game.
Calzada.
The kid from Texas A&M.
Some of those throws on that final drive.
And speaking of a different place, as we end the show here, NFL-wise, did you see that apparently Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers in Week 4, and it was the week after that he was not benched that Robert Saleh got fired, and yesterday they fired Joe Douglas, who was standing in between the owner of wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers. So now Saleh, who didn't bench Aaron Rodgers, the GM who tried to keep the owner from wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers, they've both been fired. Chances are Aaron Rodgers, if he plays football next year, it's not going to be with Woody Johnson and the New York Jets.
Boy, yeah, I did not know that story. I mean, look, he hasn't played well.
Would you want him? I mean, I don't know where else he plays.
What a slap to the ego of Aaron Rodgers. You get benched for the Jets?
The Jets.
Yeah, Week 4 is when that was happening. Diana Rossini reporting that story at The Athletic.
So Week 4, he was already ready to bench him Week 4?
Wanted him benched Week 4, and Joe Douglas and Saleh said, no, we can't do that. We'll lose the locker room. Saleh got fired after that game, and then Joe Douglas got fired after that yesterday.
You could do 4 hours in New York just on the Jets and Giants quarterback situation.
Oh, it's so bad, isn't it?
Hey, live show today, 4 to 5:30, Rodney Scott's barbecue right there in Trussville. Come join us. Great specials, a lot of things going on.
Invite a friend and come on out and enjoy great ribs right there at Rodney Scott, the Trussville location, and then basketball and trivia tonight. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We'll get to Dusty Dvoracek coming up in this segment. Talking college football. He's an Oklahoma guy. Alabama, Oklahoma this weekend, Sirius XM. He'll be with us in about 15 minutes. And then Aaron Murray talking about SEC quarterbacks down the stretch here at 9:30. Later on, Roman Harper and Dan Orlovsky on the show. Welcome in live to this Thursday edition. We start with basketball. Cut number 3, Tyler, as we get going here. Last night, Alabama beats Illinois 100-87. No points from Mark Sears in this game. No points at all. Cut 3, Tyler, if you could, please, man. Here is Grant Nelson after the game when we ask him, man, you score 100 and no Mark Sears against a top 25 opponent. Here's the reaction.
Grant, what does it say about this team that Mark Sears can have 0 and you guys as a group can go over 100?
I think it showed a lot of Mark's leadership tonight in the huddle. He kind of subbed himself out just because, he saw guys were playing well, and, he knew guys could come in and our depth at the guard spot. I think that shows a lot of leadership, and, I think guards stepped up today, Biz and Barron, to help us get the win.
Subbed himself out, man. Your reaction to that?
That's strange.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that in my life.
That last 10 minutes, 11 minutes, he sat on the bench, and it was
into the coach's job to sub you out.
Well, but Oates apparently went to him
twice
to put him back in, and Sears told him both times, I am not feeling it tonight, basically. I don't know the words he used, but I'm not playing well enough to be in the game.
The way the feeling was in the postgame was that, it was almost like, listen, he's the player of the year. He's got to let us to the Final Four. The rotation is I put you back in now. And Mark said, listen, I know you're putting me back in because that's our rotation, but those guys are playing a lot better than I am right now. I'm okay with you sitting me on the bench for these last 9 minutes.
I think it's weird, man. Like, Mark Sears is a tremendous player. Like, play your way out of it.
Well, it was a nip and tuck game at that point.
It got down to what, 7, 8?
It got to 8.
Yeah.
It just looked like they couldn't put him away. I sort of admire it.
No, I think it's great leadership. I disagree with you, Lance.
I just think it's strange. I've never seen that before in my life, and I would think the other players would be like, we want our guy in there.
Yeah, but if you think you're hurting the team because of the way you're playing and the team is playing better without you, I think it's selfish to want to go back in the game.
I don't know. Look, obviously he didn't make a shot. He was 0 of 5. He only played 21 minutes.
And Aiden Holloway was playing terrific.
Yeah, he was having one of those nights that he could shoot a 3 and it banks in.
That's right. The last thing you want to do is drag him off the floor if you're struggling.
And you don't want to take LeBaron Filan out, who's now worked his way into being a starter.
Reitzel had a good game.
Just, is it a bigger thing? Is it something that he's dealing with personally? We don't know those things. And, Taylor showed me that he shot 600 was out in the gym in the middle of the night, shot 600 shots, and sent it out on his Instagram.
Well, he did. I would say there's a lot of pressure on him, wouldn't you? We've labeled him maybe the best or most important basketball player in Alabama basketball history for what he did last year.
The greatest season in Alabama basketball history.
And so coming into this year, he was a preseason All-American. He was the CBS Sports Player of the Year in the nation. Several people had him in contention for the National Player of the Year award going into the season. With that comes a lot of pressure, right?
Oh, there's no doubt.
And he looked to me like he was pressing all night long to me.
Maybe he was. I don't know. I think when you're used to scoring 20 points a game and you're averaging 17 points a game, you probably... If you're struggling like that, I guess the natural thing to do would be press a little bit.
Yeah, if you keep looking up.
Yeah.
I noticed it approaching the end of the first half. I was like, my goodness, Mark Sears has 0. I sent it out. 9 minutes left. Mark Sears still has 0 points. Halftime, Mark Sears has 0 points. They were showing it on the broadcast because they had that in the arena there. I was pressing every time he touched the ball when he would take a shot. I was like, God, please get in there for Mark Sears. You can hear the fans, keep shooting, Mark. Hang in there, Mark. They were sort of urging him on because down the road, Mark Sears will be very important to this team.
I think maybe Grant Nelson is becoming that guy that ultimately does everything and becomes kind of this year's what am I looking for? We were just talking about him, Dalton Knapp.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what you expected when he actually came to Alabama, and maybe he becomes that guy. But, I mean, Sears, obviously, All-American, coming off the best year in Alabama history. And we talked about it a couple of days ago. Like last year, you look at the box score, and it was almost 23 every game. And it hadn't happened this year, but, you know, is it really a problem?
Yeah,
No.
a lot more
I mean,
talent.
you just scored 100 on a top 25 team without Mark Sears scoring a point. I mean, if nothing shows you the depth of that team, that does. And you got another probably starter out injured.
And I would just say this about again, I've just never seen that or never heard of it. It would be like Lamar Jackson, man, he's thrown a couple of picks in the first half. Is he not going to come back out in the second half?
Well, the question would be
No, that's different.
The question would be though, if you're continuing to want to be in the game, well, not want to. That's bad because everyone would want to be in the game. If you continue to almost use your stature on the team to press to be in the game, and you're hurting the team, that's not good for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't pressing to be in the game. Nate Oates was asking him to go back in the game.
Yeah.
I'm just, strange. I'm sure I can rile Alabama fans up early today.
Oh, you have.
Not hard to do.
You've already done that.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Another interesting part, and we'll get to football with Dusty Dvoracek in a second, was what Aiden Holloway did last night. If you can give me cut number 4, Tyler, being described as his Alabama breakout game. One thing that was a problem at Purdue was the offense, because of Purdue's defense, was very, very slow. With Philon put in as a starter last night and the way Holloway played, the offense sped up a lot last night against Illinois. Here's Nate Oates afterwards.
Is this what you envisioned when Aiden Holloway became available, and how did he speed up the offense tonight as opposed to at Purdue?
Yeah, we didn't play fast enough against Purdue. One of the clips that we did play fast enough was him. He got downhill, scored a layup. So we just said we want to keep the pace going. I think it's easier to play fast when you got 3 of those 4 guards in. So, I thought he pushed the pace tonight. He's super skilled. I mean, he's as good a shooter as I've ever coached. So the fact that he went 3 or 4 from 3 is not really that shocking. I'd venture to say he's going to have plenty of other games where he goes 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 5 or 6. So who knows? He can shoot it, and his pace is good. His skill level's high. He's got a good finishing package in the lane. He's good. So I don't know that I would say I envisioned this, because we knew he was really good coming out of high school. I think maybe, sometimes it takes a little bit to adjust, and, in college or whatever. He definitely had some good games at Auburn, but, we thought he could be more like what he was coming out of high school, and I think that's what you saw tonight.
Big game for him. So
quite the comment, by the way. The best shooter I've ever coached.
Yeah, he likes to throw that. You remember you asked him on this show.
Yeah, like to save his life.
One guy to shoot to save your life.
yeah. By the way,
And Aiden Holloway was one of the first ones he said.
and then he settled on Mark Sears.
Yeah.
Who would have had us at Nate Oates' viewing tonight, funeral tomorrow.
I'm still going. Even after last night, I'm still going Sears.
Yeah, I'd ride with Sears
Yeah.
as well. But here's the story now. You have all this talent, as you said, Brown. You got Chris Youngblood still waiting to come sliding back in.
That's right.
Nelson had 19 in the first half. Aiden with 18. Wrightsell with 16. LeBaron Philon had 16.7 rebounds, 8 assists. That kid has been unbelievable as a freshman. And now you've lost at Purdue. You've beaten Illinois. And what's up with this team? Houston, Rutgers. I mean, you've got nothing but ranked teams over the next 4 to 5 games.
Yeah, you've got Houston coming up next, then Rutgers, who is number 24 right now, then North Carolina, who's number 10, and then you got number 14, Creighton.
Yeah, and I think there's another game squeezed in out in Vegas. I think there's a third possibility if you're still playing. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance to play even somebody else ranked out there. The schedule is at a very sweet spot of the schedule. You've seen them lose one. You've seen them win one. Win one. Obviously, way too early to panic on this team. The depth, it helps you on a night like this, or do you think in the long run can it hurt you at any point?
Oh, I don't think depth can hurt you.
I don't think it can hurt you. I mean, I've got to say, if there were a night last year where Mark Sears was having the night he had, I don't think
would lose.
There's no chance they win a game.
No, probably lose by 20 last year.
And you saw him do that. You scored 100. You beat a top 25 team, kind of going away. To me, this should give you nothing but confidence if you're this team.
But Mark Sears, just to complete the circle on him, is used to playing 37, 38 minutes a game.
Right.
And he's not doing that with this team because there's so many people that have to play.
And that's interesting in itself, because I think we did talk about, Nate finding the minutes, the rotation, how he's going to actually make this thing work. And it's a good problem to have. But I think we all agreed that Mark Sears was still going to get his 30-plus minutes.
I thought so. And now you feel comfortable if it's not the situation.
Well, let it be a tight game at Neville Arena and get back to me and tell me how many minutes Mark Sears gets.
That's right.
Let it be a tight game at Rupp Arena. Let it be a tight game in Thompson Bowling, wherever you're playing, or Coleman Coliseum for that matter, and let's see how many minutes Mark Sears gets.
What do you think his low in minutes was last year?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I don't think he played under 30.
If he did, it was like 28 or 29.
Yeah, I mean, there was, some blowouts. Here's 28 against Mississippi State where they won the game by 32.
Exactly.
Yeah. Had to get him some rest.
28 against Liberty. They won the game by 45.
A couple of our great sponsors here. As we give you the Milo's hot take of the day, Brown.
What?
Not closing the book on Mark Sears' career yet after 0 points.
I'm not. No, Mark Sears will be fine.
Is that your hot take?
It's only the second time he's done this, both times incidentally against Illinois.
Yeah.
As long as they don't face Illinois in the NCAA tournament, Sears is fine.
My hot take, oh, yeah, that's right. Taylor with a great pull last night. Only other time Mark Sears has scored 0 in his college career, he was at Ohio. The opponent was Illinois.
They know how to defend him.
They know how to shut him down. My hot take of the day, Taylor wishes.
Ooh. Hot take.
Taylor wishes she was getting on the plane with the Auburn basketball team to go to Maui for their next few games.
She's bundled up in there.
Yeah, tell us about Milo's.
I do too. I just wouldn't go to the games. Hit the beach. Our friends at Milo's want to remind you, this is hot off the press. They've introduced 2 new spicy sandwiches, the Mexi Burger and the Spicy Chicken Sandwich. 100% pure ground beef, grilled onions, jalapenos, creamy white queso make up the Mexi Burger. The crispy chicken sandwich made with Milo's chicken tenders that are marinated overnight, hand-breaded in the signature Milo seasoning, topped with pickles and their Boom Boom sauce. Order through the mobile app. Enter that promo code NEXTROUND, all caps, no spacing, to get either one free with any purchase. Absolutely free with any purchase. You can see the QR code right there. You can go through it, but stop in for lunch or dinner to one of those great Milo's locations.
All right, point spread checks for tonight. Pittsburgh, a 3.5-point road favorite at Cleveland on the Amazon Prime game. Good divisional matchup there. Pittsburgh is at Cleveland. College football game tonight, actually. You got North Carolina State at Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck, a 9-point favorite in that game. And a quick check before we talk about this game with Dusty Dvoracek on the Alabama and Oklahoma point spread. It is hung around 14, 13.5, somewhere around there. Auburn still a 2.5-point underdog to Texas A&M. All those games available, mybookie.ag, code next round, mybookie.ag, code next round. By the way, when you use that code, you can go play the casino. They're going to give you 300%. 300% of your original deposit to play in the casino right there at mybookie.ag, plus 50 free spins. The casino, live there all the time. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Don't forget code next round for 300% your initial deposit in the casino. Dusty Dvoracek, you see him all the time on ESPN. You hear him on Sirius XM.
Boomer!
Every single morning. The Oklahoma great with us now. What is up, Dusty? How are you?
Doing great, boys. I mean, week 13. How the heck did we get here, man? It's great to see you guys.
It's good to see you. We wish it would slow down. I know you do as well. It flies by this time of year. Alabama in great position now to both play in the SEC championship and make the college football playoff. They got to make a road trip to Oklahoma. I just said the point spread is 13.5. When you look at these two teams on film, does Alabama appear to be a 2-touchdown better team than Oklahoma to you?
I just want to say thank you for you guys not just starting off just by clobbering me and my alma mater and what's been a struggling, trying year number 1 in the SEC. I mean, you guys love the wisecracks, and I think that myself and many people around here, maybe even you guys, thought be a better year number 1. I'm not surprised by the point spread. I think it's warranted. I thought when the point spread came out, it'd be around 2 touchdowns, if not higher. I really thought that people would be putting money on Bama around this number. I thought it would come above 14, and it's warranted. I do think it'll be a really good atmosphere in Norman on Saturday night. I think that they'll show up with Bama coming to town, and the Oklahoma defense at times this year has been really, really good. I think it's pretty safe to say you guys know the struggles and the issues this offense has had this year at offensive line, at quarterback, inability to run the ball at times, and then the turnovers have been a really big issue. So, and I think that given where Alabama's at, really, when you look at the last 3 football games, the way that they've played, I mean, I know it was Mercer, but still they continue to play really well. Kane Womack's got to be fired up about the way his defense is playing. I think Lawson and Campbell are playing really good at the second level. And I believe, and you guys are better at math than me, but I think they're +9 in the turnover margin the last 3 games. And for me in this game, that's just an area that is a non-negotiable for Oklahoma. They have no chance if they can't win the turnover battle. They've got to take care of the football against a Bama defense that's forcing takeaways, and they've got to find a way to take the ball away from Jalen Milroe and this offense that I believe has found its identity in running the football and leaning on their quarterback as kind of the head of that snake.
Hey, back to the Oklahoma offense. Jackson Arnold, I think he's an unknown. Like, before the season, I thought he could be a special quarterback. I still think he can be. He's been sacked 29 times, 214 attempts. So I guess a 2-part question here. Is it really unfair to judge Jackson right now with that offensive line, with the injuries to the wide receiver position? And the second part, what really has happened to this offensive line? I mean, they won the Joe Moore Award, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and they've got one of the absolute best offensive line coaches in the country. Bill Bedenbaugh is respected by people in college, by people in the NFL. I'm sure if you guys had, anybody that talks offensive line on, they would tell you the exact same. They lost 4 starters from a year ago, and they've dealt with some injuries as well. 2 of their offensive tackles, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor, they've been out for the season. They had another one of their interior offensive linemen be out for a bulk of the year. So look, everybody deals with injuries. They just didn't have the depth, and a couple of guys they brought in via the transfer portal didn't necessarily hit, and it's just been a compounding problem. They've had a couple of moments. I thought there was a little bit against Ole Miss. They did a couple of things right in the first half, and then the second half that they give up in that game. I think it was some obscene number of sacks. I think that Ole Miss actually just got Jackson Arnold again. It's a combination of a lot of things. Receivers, as you touched on, the injuries have been an issue. They have not been able to run the football effectively this year. So, it's one thing. In a perfect world for Jackson Arnold coming into the season, this would be a team that was, led by their defense. You run the football, you take some of that pressure off a young freshman quarterback. And oh, by the way, he's at least got some weapons that can win outside. Well, none of those boxes checked. And oh, by the way, you fire your offensive coordinator after South Carolina. So the quarterback development piece hasn't been there. I do think Jackson Arnold, it's fair to say that all those things around him weren't as good as we expected or they should have been. He was not given a great opportunity to thrive and succeed. And then obviously he lost his starting job, and you brought in Michael Hawkins halftime at Tennessee, and you got a glimpse of him until he couldn't help but turn the ball over against South Carolina. And he's a true freshman. So I don't think for either one of these guys, you really know what you have at the quarterback spot. And that's going to be one of the biggest keys as soon as this season ends. And as Brent Venables hires his new offensive coordinator, what that coordinator is going to have to assess, going to have to look at and see exactly what do we have in that quarterback room, and what pieces do we need to add to help those players thrive and succeed moving forward.
First of all, we're saving the wisecracks for next time Danny's on the show for the 1-9 Seminoles. That'll be perfect. We're saving for that.
Hey,
yeah.
I was just say real quick, that is the one nice thing about going to work each morning. As bad as it is in Norman, it's way worse in Tallahassee. So.
Absolutely. And you talked about Alabama's offensive identity, finding that again. And I think that's the answer Alabama fans are still asking themselves. Between the Georgia game and the LSU game, what happened in between? You had a chance to come to Tuscaloosa, call an Alabama game in those tweener games. In your opinion, what do you think happened between Georgia and LSU where Alabama lost their identity offensively?
It's a really good question. And I don't know this. I didn't see him on an injury report. Jalen Milroe looked a little bit worn to me. He didn't look like he had that burst that I saw, especially against LSU. I thought the bye week really did him well before the LSU game. I thought against Missouri, obviously they had the takeaways, and they really just decided to commit to the run game. And it wasn't just him. It was, Jan Miller. It was Justice Haynes. I don't know, because going back to the opener in the game that I had, this offensive staff, they knew personnel, everything about this was different than they had at Washington. Okay. They were very upfront. We had that conversation. And, I remember talking with Nick Sheridan, and he's like, we're going to lean into Jalen Milroe as a runner, as an athlete. And we're going to allow him to, really lean on his strengths as a player and, take some off his plate, maybe even as a thrower. And I just think that they weren't able to, up front, I think, is where I've seen an improvement. I think that the offensive line just doing a better job, which they should. I didn't understand there for a while in the season why they weren't running the football more effectively. Like when you look at the way those guys are, I mean, they got physical guys up front. Like I really like the offensive line heading into the season, especially from being able to line up and move people off the football. And I know that this scheme schematically, it's a little bit different than what they were doing, but I think that O-line has really come together. And I think that just from a play calling standpoint, especially when the games work out, that, you can call a smarter game. I also thought, just like going back to the LSU game, like the game plan, like it was getting the ball to the backs. It was tight ends. It was screens. It was quarterback run, Q counter, read zone, just getting out of the pocket. I think that the staff is really honed in on what can we call, what can we do to really allow Jalen to be comfortable, to thrive. And I think, as much as anything, just prevent the negative play, the catastrophic play. And it's been smart. Why did it take so long to get there? You'd have to talk to Kalen DeBoer about that. But I think the most important piece, and why I'd be excited if I'm an Alabama fan, they have seemed to figure it out at the right time, and they're in perfect position to still achieve every single goal that they had set forth before the season started.
Bigger picture, Brent Venables, year 1, 6-7, it's year 1. I thought he did a tremendous job with a lot of pressure last year, winning 10 games. This year, as you said, we've talked about 1-5 in the SEC, 5-5 overall, hasn't been good. He's dealing with a lot of stuff, including his wife's cancer coming back. That was made public again this week. So he gets the vote of confidence. He will be back. I think we all agree he should be back. But big picture, what is that approval rating right now with Sooner Nation? And does Venables seem like he's going to be a long-term fit?
It's mixed. It's a fair question. It's mixed. I think there's some of the fan base that would say, hey, you got to move on, rip the Band-Aid off. I think that there's more in the fan base that want to see him have another opportunity to get this thing right. I fall in that camp. I'm self-admittedly biased. He was a man who recruited me and I played for, and I've got a very strong relationship with, and I believe in Brent Venables. But, they're going to have to – he's got to get this hire right, man. Like, let's just be honest. They've got to get – I think the defense is in a pretty good spot. They have not been elite this year, but they've been good. They've been good enough to win more games than they've won. And I don't think that's going away. They've recruited at a high level over there, and I feel good about the path forward of the defense. You got to get this hire right. And there's a lot of names out there. We can go down. Is it Ben Arbuckle? Is it Joe Craddock? You try to reach out to Shanahan in Indiana? I'm sure that they're going to vet and they're going to go after several different candidates. I don't necessarily have one that I say you got to go get him. He is the guy. I just know that you got to get this one right. Because if they don't, and that offense doesn't get improved significantly immediately, it's going to get uncomfortable. And I think that Coach Venables knows that as well as anybody. So I don't think that he would shy away from that. And I think that everybody recognizes this is a very critical moment for Oklahoma football, and getting that offensive component right is a huge piece. I think also just overall, just from a roster standpoint, getting that offensive line right, with your NIL dollars, are you allocating all those in the right place? I'm asking the questions. I don't know this, but like, you got to make sure, as you guys know, no different than an NFL team with these collectives and the way you balance your budget, right? You've got X amount of dollars. How you allocating that? Is there too much on defense? Is it the right spots on offense? Like, and only those guys inside, that collective and who's making those calls and those decisions on where you're allocating money know the right answers. But I definitely know that getting the coaching hire right is of the utmost importance. And I think addressing some personnel issues on that side of the ball are as well. If you can't block people, you can't establish a run or protect quarterbacks. I don't really care who you have back there. It's going to be difficult. And I know that they've got a really good offensive line coach. I'd be surprised if we don't see them really try to upgrade that personnel in conjunction with this new offensive coordinator.
Dusty Dvoracek with us. You see him on ESPN, hear him on Sirius XM. You just did the Florida Gators. You've seen Ole Miss recently. Ole Miss goes to Florida. It's an improving Florida team, but it seems like an Ole Miss team playing at their peak. Is that a trouble spot for the Rebs, you think?
I think it could be. I think that a couple things with this. By the way, that was my first time to get the full dose of the swamp.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that place was on fire Saturday night.
And that was a 4-5 team.
Yeah.
On fire, boys. That was awesome. That was big time. I give it up to the Gators fans for, even during a season that was subpar, for being there and showing up. That was big. The Tom Petty fourth quarter, goosebumps, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, big time stuff. So the venues going to the SEC, I've done 9 SEC games this year. They've been off the charts. So people mock it, people make fun of it. It really does mean more in the Southeastern Conference, and those venues, I think, reflect that each and every Saturday. I think Auburn this weekend is going to be incredible Saturday night for A&M. As far as this game goes, though, to get to your question, I think Florida's a pretty good team. I know that sounds crazy. Go back and watch the Tennessee game. I'm not. You can't convince me if Graham Mertz doesn't get hurt, they don't win that game. Go to the Georgia game when DJ Lagway went down the second quarter, they're up a touchdown. Go watch the film. Tell me that Florida wasn't every bit as good up until that point when Aiden Warner had to come in on the field with Georgia. And we obviously saw what happened the other night against LSU. They played extremely well. That offensive line's playing with physicality. DJ Lagway, getting himself right to play gave that team an extreme lift. And then the defense, Ron Roberts, minus the Texas game. And I don't want to say that they weren't trying. I think they knew when Lagway wasn't playing. They had several guys that were fringe. Could they go? Could they not go? I think they really geared up for these last 2 home games. And I think that the confidence they're going to have coming into this is going to be palpable. Now, the problem I would say for just to call for the upset on the show with you right here is Ole Miss saw that game. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin are going to be prepared. They got an entire week extra of preparation. Trey Harris is probable now. I believe Lane Kiffin said yesterday it's the healthiest his team has been maybe all season. And it's very clear what's in front of them. And, oh, by the way, when you go back to the Arkansas game and then what they did against Georgia, they're playing their best brand of football at the right time. Ole Miss is clearly the more talented, better team. I think they handle their business and win. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. I expect Florida to put up a fight. And would it shock me if I'm tuning in as I'm up in the booth getting ready for my game and this is a game that's in question in the fourth quarter? No, it's not going to shock me. But I do think we see Ole Miss in this spot as a double-digit favorite for a reason. I think that that defense in particular, I just think is as good a front as I've seen all year. The way they can create negative plays, and since Princely Umanmiyelin's come back, boys, that pass rush is ferocious. He's on a tear of 3 straight games with 2 sacks. That's going to be the biggest key. Can they protect DJ Lagway, who's still not 100%? If they can't, I definitely think Ole Miss can go in there and get a very nice victory before the Egg Bowl.
You will see Dusty on the Auburn Texas A&M game. You see him throughout the Southeastern Conference. Dusty, thank you very much for the time.
I thought he had BYU Arizona State.
I thought you had Auburn Texas A&M.
No. I don't. I will be in Tempe. I've got a Big 12 ditty.
My apologies.
That I think is one of the games of the weekend. No. I was just mentioning that SEC environment. I believe Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden will be there in Auburn, Alabama. I'm going to be in Tempe, boys. I'm going to tell you what. You want me to give you a sales pitch for one of the best games of the weekend? Arizona State, BYU picked 16 and 13 in their conference, respectively, a game before the year nobody was paying attention to. This has as big a conference championship game and playoff implications as any game out there. So we're going to have some fun out in the desert on Saturday.
Yep. Yeah. My apologies. I had you in the wrong spot. Thank you for the time, Dusty. Always good talking with you.
See you, boys. Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Take care. Dusty Dvoracek. You see him on ESPN. You'll see him late Saturday right there with that big Arizona State BYU game. He was on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
So a week from today is Thanksgiving. I think most guys start to realize, you know what, Thanksgiving, it's time to start really getting in the holiday mode and start the season of gift buying. Our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa, perfect for the guy out there because for the wife or girlfriend, so easy just to go online. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can order the gift card right there. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can order that special person gift online 24/7. birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Gift card, simple solution. Buy them 24/7 online or stop in, see Stuart and the great staff. The Woodhouse Day Spa. Tell them the next round sent you right there at the Summit Shopping Center.
And our friends with DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com, the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban in his 6 national championship seasons. You see right there, Deuces Wild, that's Ryan Williams and Zabian Brown. That big moment that could lead to a championship from Alabama against Georgia. You can pre-order that now. Celebrate Nick Saban by ordering the legend or get the 2025 calendar, which is available right now. Coupon code TNR, 20% off. All that for you, speaking of holiday gifts, for you right there at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. When we come back, Aaron Murray talks SEC football with us. This is the next round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
By the way, it's Dave Fleming, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden for that Texas A&M Auburn game. And, of course, Alabama's got the main crew, Alabama and Oklahoma, out there in Norman. Don't forget, game day headquarters, the Pants Store, leads the original location, the home of Charles Barkley, who's playing in the match tonight, golf on TNT. He's got Ken Griffey Jr. as his partner.
That's amazing. People watch that.
Ken Griffey Jr. has not had to carry a team more since he was with the Cincinnati Reds that he'll carry tonight. Also locations in Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn. Bama and Auburn polos, hats, quarter zips, perfect under the tree this season. And by the way, free gift wrapping right now. You can order online too, pantstore.com, pantstore.com. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store.
All right, let's talk some football with Aaron Murray, the Georgia great. You see him on CBS, you see him on SEC Network. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Aaron? How are you today?
Doing well. No more CBS, just ESPN.
My apologies.
Let me double dip with both, but
my apologies.
No, doing well. Actually, my wife has been invited to 3 weddings this fall. I missed the first 2. I'm actually taking the weekend off this weekend to go to one, and I still can't believe she has 3 friends that scheduled weddings in the fall.
Poor judgment.
It's been unbelievable.
That is amazing.
It's poor judgment.
I mean, we've always said this. People need to know from January through August, you can get married anytime you want.
Mm-hmm.
Just once you get to late August, it just doesn't work out.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. I mean, and all of them went to Florida or Georgia. So they went to football schools or football fans. The one this weekend's 2 Georgia fans. They went there. So it's somewhat of a Georgia bye week. So if you're going to pick a weekend to get married to your Georgia Bulldog fan, this is probably the weekend to do it. So had to go to at least one of them.
Well, let's start with your Bulldogs, and let's start with Carson Beck. I know the offensive line hasn't been what we thought it would be, but there is a difference, Carson Beck in Athens and Carson Beck on the road.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, second half, Carson Beck versus Alabama was pretty darn good. So, I mean, I think you had that moment to hopefully build on going forward. But you have to think the defenses that he went against on the road this season are pretty darn good. Ole Miss on the road, really good football game, really good football team, bad weather. Texas, I think Texas is one of the best defenses in the country. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Carson. He has to be better. If you want to be a first-round quarterback, which I still believe – if you can bottle up what you saw in Athens a week ago and replicate that going forward, not only is Georgia the favorite in my mind to win a national championship, but he works his way back into the first round. He is capable of playing like that. I don't want to say it's okay, you're going to go on the road, so that means you're going to throw 2 or 3 interceptions. That has to be better. I think the guys around him have to be better. And you saw guys step up this past weekend as well. Guys making plays down the field. Receivers catching the football, tight ends catching the football, Jurasek, Oscar struggled early on this season. So I think you're starting to see confidence with him and his weapons. Obviously, the offensive line played the best game they probably played this entire season as well. So fingers crossed for Georgia fans. It seems like everything's starting to click around him. and hopefully he doesn't feel like he has to be Superman in order to go out there and will this team to touchdowns.
You mentioned Georgia in a national championship, and it's on this show we said last year if Georgia had gotten into the 4-team playoffs, we thought they could win a national championship. We still think they are good enough to win a national championship this year. Take Georgia out of the mix. If not Georgia, then who's next for you, Aaron, on somebody you have confidence in that can win a national championship? Because we did this exercise yesterday, and every time we mentioned a team, I was like, I'm just not sure I trust that team. I did that with all 12 playoff teams.
So it's funny, we had a somewhat similar conversation last night. I do a Georgia show once a week with Ben Jones, Nosha Moreno, Tavares King, and we kind of had the who does Georgia not want to face in the playoffs scenario. So kind of all kind of runs together. And the two teams I think we both agreed on were Ole Miss and Alabama. I think Ole Miss and Alabama right now are playing really good football. And maybe just because I haven't seen as much about Oregon this year and just their schedule, but I've seen a lot of Ole Miss, and that's a great defense. That's a great defensive line. That's an offense that is now all of a sudden Jackson Dart with weapons other than Trey Harris are putting up monster numbers. Then all of a sudden you throw Trey into the equation. How do you stop them? Can the offense line continue to play? That's going to be where everyone's eyeballs are going to be on. But I think from an entire football team, I think Ole Miss is really good. You look at Alabama. When Jalen's on, he is the most difficult player to control in all of college football. The defense has stepped their game up the past month. So that's another team that's playing well on defense. They're maturing on the back end, very young, but they're maturing. And then all of a sudden on offense, you're seeing a quarterback that is playing at a really, really high level. So, and obviously Georgia just doesn't win against Alabama. So obviously Georgia doesn't want to face those two. So I would say those two to me are playing as good as anyone in the country. Ohio State, I still worry about the offensive line. I believe they just lost their center for the year with an Achilles tear. So what happens with that group up front? Those would be my favorite two. Like I said, Ole Miss, Alabama, and then probably Texas as 3 for my favorites to win besides Georgia.
Aaron Murray is with us, the former Georgia great at Aaron Murray 11 on social media is where you find him. He does snaps with T-Bob. You get that same place you get our show. Just look for snaps. He and T-Bob do a great job of that. You see him on the SEC network. He's with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, also on ESPN. You said when Jalen Milroe is playing at that level, what have you seen different from him when he's playing at the level you just described, and then when he's playing just below that level? What are the glaring differences in his game for you?
Well, I think it comes down to health. I truly believe when they were going on a little run of a couple games where the offense kind of was lacking a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I'm completely wrong. Didn't really hear anything definitive, but he did not look the same. I think the difference between Jalen this year and Jalen a year ago is the offensive design around him just to run the football. I have never seen Georgia look that slow on defense. I mean, it's probably been a decade since I've seen Georgia look that slow. That's what he did to hit them in the first half of that football game early on this season. He has elite speed. He has elite quickness. He has great size. When he just takes off and runs, it's you can have a spy all you want. He made Malachi Starks look slow. And Malachi is one of the best defensive players in all of America. That's how good he is. A year ago, I felt like he was trying to be a pocket quarterback. And at times, you're like, just run, you run. You saw a little bit towards the end of the season. You saw it against Auburn, the big run, and their comeback win in that game. But this year, it's just been the design run, especially in the red zone. So I just think that part of his game has evolved because of just his willingness to do it more, because of the play calling. I still think the passing has gone better. It all comes down to his lower half. I diagrammed this a lot early in the season. He still at times is not, the base is not great. His feet are not going in the right direction. He's thrown off platform when he doesn't need to necessarily do that. But overall, better passer, more willing runner, makes him one of the most dangerous players in all of college football. And it's funny. I've had South Carolina twice this year. Week 1, and I sat down with Lenores and the coaching staff, and they kept talking about, I want to be a pocket quarterback. I want to be a guy that sits in the pocket. I can do that. That's what I'm be known for. And after the bye week, they told him, listen, as you develop as a passer, your legs are your biggest tool. Just run. When things aren't there, don't feel like you have to get the 3 and 4. Just take off. And all of a sudden, you're seeing Lenores take his game to another level. Obviously, Jalen's a more mature quarterback, has played more. I think he's a little bit better with getting through his progressions. But same thing. Just use your legs, man. It's your most dangerous weapon. and he's been fun to watch this year.
Perfect segue here, and I'm glad you brought up Lenore Sellers, because last night we were doing a specialty show and we were talking about young quarterbacks in this league. And I said if I could have any of these guys for the next 2 years, I think I would take Lenore Sellers. I don't know where you are on the young quarterbacks. We just had Dusty Dvoracek on talking about Jackson Arnold, Nico at Tennessee. Help me out. There's young ones all over. DJ Lagway.
Lagway.
Yeah,
there are a ton of young quarterbacks.
What direction would you go? I mean, who do you think shows the most promise?
So I've had two of the young ones this year. So I've had DJ Lagway. I had their game versus Kentucky, which he was just a masterful performance. I've had South Carolina twice. I had South Carolina ODU, and then I had South Carolina versus Vanderbilt. So I've seen Lenore at probably his worst first game of the season, then one of his better games. And it seems like he's only having great games as of late this season. So if I had to pick one of those two, obviously you throw Nico into the equation. You can throw Texas A&M in there as well. I mean, this league we thought was going to be good this year at the quarterback position. It has been a little bit disappointing, but when you do look to the future, this is a league that's going to have 4 or 5 young quarterbacks that could start for the next 2 years. And sorry, Marcel, read it. The name slipped my mind for a second. It's like those 4 guys are going to be studs. But if I had to bet on one right now, I would probably go 1 DJ Lagway, 2 Lenore's. I think DJ obviously is a great runner. DJ's got great size. I think DJ's the best passer of all of them. I think DJ's a better passer than Lenore's. I think he's a better passer than Nico. I think that guy can push the ball vertically down the field. You've seen him take over the game throwing the football, and you've seen him make some pretty awesome plays running the football as well. So I think we're in for a really, really good future in this league when it comes to the quarterback position.
The team that nobody's talking about when it comes to the college football playoffs or the national championship is Texas A&M. They got a tough one at Auburn this week, and then Texas in the big game we're all waiting for, dying to see. Is there still juice left in the Aggies to make the college football playoffs and make some noise, in your opinion?
Yeah, I actually was on the call for their game last week, and I was texting family and friends. And listen, it was no disrespect to New Mexico State, but it was New Mexico State. Night game there in Kyle Field, and it was 105,000 people going crazy for 3.5 quarters. It was the environment there is second to none. It is absolutely incredible. Are they contenders? Can they take care of business against Auburn and then Texas in a week and a half from now? It comes down to Marcel Reed. You watch the tape, and it's hard to always judge a quarterback. How good of a thrower he is. Does the ball have some pop out of his hand? And seeing him live in person, like, all right, man, the ball does pop out of his hand. He can make the throws. He's throwing with better anticipation after the bye week. That's something they worked on hard with him. But are they good enough around him? Le'Veon Moss is out. Amari Daniels is pretty good. They got some other young running backs. E.J. Smith, obviously not a young guy, but new to the program. I think the receivers are good, not great. And the defense is really good, especially up front. So, it comes down to how diverse can they be on offense? Can they run the football? Can they get the ball to playmakers against a Texas defense, which I talked about earlier? I believe is one of the best 5 defenses in all of college football. So they're going to have a chance, no doubt about it. Kyle Field, I'm guessing it's going to be a night game. A Texas offense that's been struggling a little bit against an A&M defense, who I believe is really good. But I just think that they're a little bit inexperienced in some key positions for me to say that they're true contenders to win a national championship. But yeah, they're good enough to beat Texas in 2 weeks.
Speaking of Auburn, Aaron, before you go, in that game against Texas A&M, they came out of the bye. Granted, it was Louisiana Monroe. Everybody understands that, right? Mm-hmm. But they came out of the bye, and they had as crisp an offensive performance as they've probably had since August.
Yep.
This late in the season, are you able to flip a switch like that? Do you just write that off as opponent? I mean, what might have happened there, you think?
Well, I mean, you can especially when you have freshmen. You have to understand freshmen are going to be making massive leaps during their first year. And we always talk about like year 1 to year 2, but throughout the season, you also start to see like, okay, Payne Thorne finding Cam Coleman, hey, this guy's pretty good. And now all of a sudden he's got 10 games under his belt. So you start to see these playmakers emerge on the outside, which then all of a sudden gives Jaquez Hunter the ability to go against a light box and have one of his better games too. So Payne Thorne can throw the football, and I think he can throw the football well. it's a decision-making thing for him. But when you have receivers that are playing at a high level and making plays, then all of a sudden, as we know, it's a light box. Payne can use his legs. You can get Jaquez going a little bit. So, yeah, this offense is definitely starting to mature in the pass game. That's what you hoped when you signed a couple 5-stars out of the high school ranks a year ago. Like I said, now all of a sudden those freshmen are starting to hit their stride a little bit, and you hope that part of the game, it can loosen up A&M a little bit this weekend.
All right, he is Aaron Murray. Follow him on social media at Aaron Murray11. See him on the SEC Network and ESPN. Hear him on Sirius XM. See him with T-Bob on Snaps. Same place you get this show is where you find Snaps. Just do the search for that and subscribe so you can follow them. Aaron, we greatly appreciate the time, man. It's always fun talking to you.
Appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care.
Enjoy the wedding, man.
Yeah. Aaron with us.
He ain't going to be there.
On the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Our man, Dr. B, he will be there for you if the hair starts to thin out. Me and Brown both go in to see Dr. Beckenstein. Happened to me about 3 years ago. I asked around. Everybody said, Dr. B is the guy you need to go see. Since that moment, I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. My hair has more than doubled in thickness for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Tell him the next round sent you. For more information, you can always go online to t3hair.net.
And our friends at Urology Centers, Alabama.com. UCA, 35 urologists, 16 locations, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones. Guys, so important to stay on top of your health, especially when you're young, right? Those first signs of any problems in your urological tract can lead to some major issues. That's why you need to stay on top of it. Urology Centers, Alabama.com, or call 205-930-0920, 930-0920. Vasectomies as well, and a lot more. Urology Centers, Alabama.com to schedule an appointment. Always on Thursday, we do Thursday's tradition. Brownie has it ready to go for us. Tyler, hit the big button. Brought to you by McCurry.
The College Football Spotlight.
College football's best traditions.
Our tradition each Thursday in the Spotlight, presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental, that local rental company you can depend on. Hard to find trucks, SUVs, passenger vans. I was out the other day and saw one of those like moving type vans there. McCurry Rentals painted on the side there. They got those as well. You need those? Give them a call, 256-559-1003. Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyler Boulevard at Tuscaloosa. McCurry Rentals, 256-559-1003. McCurryRentals.com. McCurryRentals.com.
Can I share with LT and our listeners and viewers the discussion about the tradition that was going on? Do
you want to do it before or after I do it?
I'm just saying I've never seen a tradition that has been debated this much before it has happened. There is some, Mythbusters that needs to pop in here? What do we have?
I mean, despite the fact that there are volumes of evidence that this tradition is true, Scott Forrester was the first to doubt that it is true, and Jim Dunaway has now jumped on the doubt train. I don't know where Tyler stands.
I agree with Scott, too.
Okay, Tyler also on the doubt train.
Okay, so y'all don't influence me.
Okay.
So have I heard of the tradition before?
You have not. Yeah.
Okay.
Scott, had you heard of it, Scott?
No, I was not familiar.
Okay, Tyler?
I was not. I just saw the
Jim?
pictures.
I am not familiar with it.
It's the whole purpose of the
slightly
segment.
uncomfortable.
The whole purpose of the segment is to teach you guys stuff like this.
Okay.
Northwestern and Michigan play this week. Now, the Big Ten is flush with trophies for big games.
Yes.
It's not a big game, Northwestern Michigan, but still,
they
never
has
been.
been a big
Never
game.
has been, Jim. Michigan has dominated this series.
Only 10.5 points, though, by the way. Closer to a big game than it's ever been before.
76 meetings. Michigan, how many do you think they have won?
76 meetings. I will say Michigan has won 71.
I was going to say 60.
59. So it has been a very one-sided, but it wasn't always one-sided. In fact, it got started as a very good series between two of these teams, and one of the reasons why was a Michigan Wolverine by the name of George Jewett. George Jewett. It just so happened he was the first ever black Michigan football player, the first ever African-American to play football for Michigan.
Ever, okay.
Ever. And he made, in the 1892, that's how far back this goes, the 1892 game, made quite an impact. Is the first player, the first African-American player that played there against Northwestern. He kicked a field goal. He played on offense. He played on defense. He was a running back and a defensive back. However, in spite of his great effort, Northwestern still won the game over Michigan 10-8.
Oh, wow.
Now, I was told this is a new phenomenon.
Okay.
But the very next year, he played the game for Northwestern. What? He transfer portal? In the 1890s, that's right, 1893, he became Northwestern's first African-American football player, and he scored Northwestern's only touchdown in their game against Michigan, but unfortunately for him again, he lost the game in 1893, so he was on the losing side of both games.
I'm going to go point him out, but they've got him. They made him lose a lot of weight at Northwestern.
So the debate becomes what?
I just want to ask you guys, what would Ohio State's defense do to one of these teams?
Oh, they would destroy him. It would be, Jim, I don't know that you've got to point him out. First African-American player for both teams. Now, the
who's the female in the end sweater?
Not real sure.
Far right.
Is there a female in this? The debate became, before the show, that the two photos of him look nothing alike. And I don't disagree with Forrester and Tyler and Jim that they look nothing alike.
You did originally, though.
No, I did not.
The whole face shape is different.
Tyler, I don't disagree with you guys.
Wait, the guy from the right or from the left to the right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's... Yeah,
those two guys.
So Scott's got a closer up photo.
That's not the same guy.
Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is, but I am telling you guys that the tradition exists. The George Jewett Trophy. He was the first African-American player for both Michigan and Northwestern. Now, Scott managed to find photos. There's the trophy. Scott, that's the trophy. Do you believe it now?
I believe that the trophy looks like the picture on the left.
More so.
Here.
They all kind of look different, but yeah, I would
I was going to say the trophy looks like the one on the right. Trophies are horrible.
They really are.
Yeah.
Anyway, George Jewett Trophy on the
So
line.
what would be the point of duping us here?
For me to do it?
No.
Oh, for somebody like that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are pictures from the 1890s. They probably got mislabeled at Northwestern or at Michigan, and we got the wrong guy.
Yeah, let's keep
Are
in
we
mind.
sure this guy isn't just like a folk legend, like a Paul Bunyan type?
I don't think so.
Sid Finch.
Yeah. Keep in mind, though, our iPhone 16 camera is so much better than the cameras they had back there.
Dude, the guy on the right over his shoulder with that mustache.
How old was
what
that
position did that guy play?
Catcher.
He was in concert that night. That's Tyler Childers.
and then you got a little, I don't even know what you got. Again, the sweater, the end on the right.
It's a different look back then. But George Jewett may not be the same guy in both those photos.
Yeah, see, the Northwestern team, upper right, right under the McCurry logo.
Yeah.
The camera must be really bad because his face looks horse-like, elongated.
I agree. Again, 1893 we're talking about.
Some
here.
people have those faces.
Yeah. Crazy tradition, Brownie.
There you go.
Yeah.
The guy was the first transfer portal king. He portaled from Michigan to Northwestern, played for both of them.
Nick in the chat brings up a good point. He says, are we sure they just didn't have the same name?
Well, I mean, George Jewett? How many times have you heard that name?
I've never met a Jewett.
If it was Bob Smith, I could agree. But I mean, George Jewett? That's
That'd
a weird
be quite
name.
the coincidence.
Yeah, I would agree with Scott. That's quite the coincidence.
No.
It's still easier to believe than these two people and the
Again,
photos being the same
I
guy.
want to make it abundantly clear. I'm not arguing for the veracity of either photo. I am just telling you the history behind them.
I'm just saying that maybe people were like, okay, we got to fill out some admission forms here at Northwestern.
Yeah.
I've already used my eligibility at Michigan. Who's got eligibility? Oh, George Jewett does.
George Jewett, I'll be him.
We'll be George Jewett this year.
All right, can you play halfback? I play every position, my friend.
Roman Harper, when we come back, the show being brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Tell us about Michelson.
Hey, do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK at Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice for you. Book your free LASIK consultation today with Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or flex plan funds to get freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you, and they will get you in to find out if a LASIK is right for you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And I'm going to do something I never do. Do not call this sponsor until a week from Monday.
What?
A week from Monday. That's my friends at Way to Wellness. You go ahead and enjoy Thanksgiving week, man. You just stuff all that turkey and all great foods just in your gut. Just stuff it. And then a week from Monday, You call Leslie and our board-certified team at Wado Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Planforme.com. Planforme.com is the website. Get all the information you need right there. They've got the personalized plan that works for you. No cookie-cutter plan. Plus, medical weight loss, the needle injections that are so popular right now with the supervision of Leslie and her board-certified medical professionals. They've got meal replacements that I use to control blood pressure and cholesterol. No contract, no sign-up fees. First consultation is free. In radio and television, this is my call to action. Don't call now. Call 1 week from Monday. Get the number and all the information you need at planforme.com. It's Wado Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, let's get quickly to Roman Harper. We'll tell you about some of our great sponsors.
Never disappoints.
In just a second.
Man's getting on an airplane.
I can't even watch.
He's got to get his seat. Tell him about a sponsor real quick.
Okay, one of our great sponsors, LT, is Odie's. What was the question last night?
The question was,
You weren't there.
I was at home watching Alabama and Illinois.
Bigger, Neptune or Uranus?
Well, it's different for different people, but I'm going to tell you actually Neptune
I think it is Neptune.
slightly bigger than Uranus.
You think so?
Yep.
No, Tyler agrees.
I agree.
Yep.
Closer to Jupiter is the bigger planet.
Uranus is actually larger than Neptune.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is closest to Jupiter?
Any planetary nerds
Uranus.
know that?
I don't know.
Uranus
Will
is?
was grading, so I don't know who got it right.
So I got it backwards. I knew whichever one of those
Okay.
two was closest to Jupiter was the larger one.
Uranus is actually larger, Jim.
Did the old team win?
They did not.
Okay.
Upset last night.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what you learned at Odie's, though.
Odie's Tavern, 2 locations. The original, these guys were at last night in Crestline, the newest location in Edgewood. Both locations, incredible food from Rodney Davis. Have been doing it for 35 years. The burgers, the wings, the sandwiches, ice cold beer buckets, full of the Bud Light. Live music every Friday and Saturday. Get in and see Will Haver. It's a Birmingham institution, Odie's Tavern.
All right, first class boards early, so you know Harp's already on the plane with everybody walking past.
Thank you, sir.
How you doing, Harp? First class boards early.
I mean, I'm doing well, man. Everybody just saying hi on the plane. So, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Traveling with a celebrity.
But yeah, man, you guys doing well?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I'm on the plane, so I made it. It's all good.
So just a random broad question because there is no right or wrong answer. Who is the best team in the SEC today?
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard.
Well,
answer,
as you ponder this, we'll do it.
I want to say
we'll do it Gladiator 2 style. The movie drops today. So if you had to have one team that you're choosing to play for your life to go deepest in the playoffs right now from this conference, who would it be?
Dude, I'm gonna go with Alabama just because they're my team. So at least if I'm gonna go down, I'm going with family. But I don't know who I could pick that could go and win 3 straight games, and I'd be confident about it. It's very hard for me to say right now. Just knowing what Alabama's been through. Thank you, sir. That Texas is good, but then at sometimes I don't love what I see out of Texas's offense. And as far as Georgia's concerned, I just saw him play a good game for the first time in a while. So I don't trust a lot of teams. I don't trust any team to go out there and get me 3 straight wins. It's just really, really hard. And who's playing the best right now? It's either between Alabama or Texas as they're playing as a whole.
If I offered you a warm towel or a mimosa right now, which one would you choose?
Oh, mimosa, not even hesitation. But no orange juice. I don't like OJ.
So you just want the champagne.
Champagne.
Not really a mimosa.
Yeah, it's not a mimosa. Harp.
Well, I mean, first class, I felt like I should ask you that first instead of a football question. Well, we could do it like Jimmy Dykes. Okay, so you've got Alabama at the front of your plane in first class.
With Harp.
Who's your second favorite SEC team right now? Is Georgia back after what you saw?
I thought Georgia finally played well. How you doing? Kentucky fans like me, guys. I feel like, they finally didn't turn the ball over, so you got to see the best version of who Georgia is. For week after week, we talked about Carson Beck turning the football over, but I also want to know who is Georgia's identity as a team, as a whole. I haven't been in a season where I've seen Kirby Smart as a coach, and I know who their identity was, and I think we got close to that end. My only thing is that the answer to that question may be it's a Carson Beck-led team, and he has to play perfect and not turn the football over. And he's only done that in one game the last 4 or 5 games. So that's what gives me a little bit of reservation. But when Georgia's good, Georgia's really, really damn good. And they can beat anybody. But we just got to get them to be that team all the time.
Roman Harper, SEC Network and ESPN with us. He's brought to you each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. That code helps you in the casino right now. Man, go to that casino and have some fun. 300% sign-on bonus. 300% sign-on bonus When you go to mybookie.ag and use code next round, they'll also give you 50 free spins. Just giving it away in the casino right now. Part of mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag. You have to pick one of these as an upset from this weekend. There's some of them are slim upsets, but I'm just giving you the point spreads here. Texas A&M loses to Auburn. Ole Miss loses to Florida. LSU loses to Vandy. Missouri loses to State. Alabama loses to Oklahoma. Or your favorite guys there in the plane, Kentucky beats Texas. Which one of those do you feel most confident in?
It's call me crazy, but it's got to be Florida over Ole Miss, because Ole Miss Mississippi teams always let me down. For some reason, they just do. The moment I start to believe is the moment they upset me and let me down. But I think this Ole Miss team is different. So if I had to pick one, I'm going with Vandy over LSU. And the only reason I don't say it's a lock is because it's a night game. And so, but I like what this Vandy team is. It's the way LSU's offense is built and the way that they're playing. It almost sets up perfectly for Vanderbilt's defense, which that's something I never thought I'd be able to say. That LSU is playing in the hands of Vanderbilt, but LSU can't score. They haven't scored but 3 or 4 times the last 20-something possessions. Like, they're just not scoring touchdowns. And Vanderbilt specializes in keeping everything in front of them, not allowing the big play, maybe having a little bit of run game, but, and just playing right there and then expecting you to make the intercept or throw them the ball and make the mistake and capitalize on that, which we know Nussmeier has a tendency to throw the other team the ball. They're going to catch it. And then on the other side of football, Vanderbilt's going to run the ball, control the clock, really just try and play, methodical down the field and move it that way. If you're not scoring touchdowns, it make them a drop-back team. That sets up well for them. And then Vanderbilt, with LSU's smaller defensive line, may have the ability to run the football with success. And you do that, you chew up the clock. It's scary, but Vandy could win this game at night in Baton Rouge, and LSU fans will not know what to do with themselves if that happens.
Hart, back to your Alabama team. I agree with you. We did a show last night, and I said if I could pick one team, survival, I could hitch my wagon to it, not only from the SEC and all of college football, it would be Alabama right now. Again, no right or wrong answer, I don't think. All these teams have chinks in the armor. But with a healthy Milroe playing like he has played the last few weeks, since the loss to Tennessee, Alabama has outscored Missouri, LSU, and Mercer 128-20. They now have a top 10 scoring defense nationally, a top 10 scoring offense nationally. But to that defense, what have you seen has been the biggest improvement from giving up 40 to Vanderbilt and basically 25 in the second half to South Carolina to where they are right now?
Honestly, guys, I just feel like they're just playing more cohesive. Everybody kind of knows their role. The corners are playing better. Jahad Campbell's really taking it to the next level right now as middle linebacker. And they're doing the things that I said that were important at the beginning of the year, which is they're creating turnovers at a high rate. They're converting on those. They scored on defense last week. They're playing better in the red zone, which is what they did phenomenally versus LSU. Like, all the things that I said were important, they're starting to make those things important, and those are the numbers that are jumping out. And when they do that, they're going to be successful. I think that is what has really jump-started this whole Alabama defense and this perspective that Alabama's a team to beat. Alabama's a team for a future. And right now, in the way they're playing on offense and defense, but offensively, I still need them. The one thing that I still was like, man, they have not hit the deep ball. They still haven't hit the deep ball the last couple of weeks. And last year, they hit every single one of those. When they do that, they're going to be damn near unstoppable. The deep ball is the only thing that I feel like is missing right now from this team and this offense.
I see them closing the overhead compartments behind you, so I'll ask you this question before you get out of here. Whose overhead compartments are full already? Indiana, Notre Dame, or Miami? Which one of these teams get deplaned?
As far as the playoffs concerned, man, I think they all make it. If anybody has a chance to get knocked out, it's going to be Miami, because SMU, the team who's really, really, really good. They actually have a better resume than Notre Dame, but they don't have the brand name and the brand recognition. So that is what it is. But I think if I had to pick anyone, because Miami's been rocking on the eggshells all year, I think SMU would be the one to knock Miami off. I think Indiana's kind of locked in. I like their story. regardless of it. I think Penn State's a little bit more fraudulent in the fact that I'm used to Penn State losing the big game, where it's a team like Indiana, I'm just not used to looking at them. So I end up rooting for Indiana more than I root for these other teams. But the Big Ten's locked in, bro. Big Ten's propping each other up. You know, it's just what it is. The Illinois is the team that's propping up, and the committee's able to say, like, because they beat this team deserves to be here.
All right, he is Roman Harper. You will see him on the SEC Network and ESPN this weekend. He is about to lift off. Harp, thank you for the time. Safe travels. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man. Y'all get on that mybookie.com, all right? Mybookie.ag.
That's right. Light it up. See you, buddy. Mybookie.ag, where, again, code next round gets you that casino bonus, 300% deposit bonus to play with in the casino there at mybookie.ag when you use code next round, plus 50 free spins in their casino. Still play all the games, too. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, mybookie.ag. That Ole Miss line, jump back up to Ole Miss -10. Yeah. Ohio State a 13-point favorite. Alabama 13.5-point favorite. Auburn 2.5-point underdog.
I'm told the casino games here at mybookie.ag, like blackjack, is like really, really a blast.
Yeah, they've got live casino, just the normal casino. I mean, they've got everything there at mybookie.ag. It's really fun.
Yeah, little T was just talking about that she loves to play blackjack. Get her a glass of wine. Just hang out at the house, play blackjack.
And just hit the blackjack a little bit.
There you go. You can do it right there with a 300% bonus. Why not?
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about $20 or $50 hand minimums. Right?
No,
there.
I think they've got every size.
You decide your minimum. Yeah, right there. MyBookie, the casino, mybookie.ag, promo code next round. Go do that. We appreciate that as you get ready to jump into the casino there. Also by our friends at HydraLive LT.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy. It's all under one roof. 2 locations in Birmingham, the original in Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Also, a Tuscaloosa location, very important when you're in one of those locations. Mention the next round, 20% off all the great services, great gift ideas for this holiday season. Get a gift card from HydraLive Therapy. If you can't make it to one of their locations, they can actually send a nurse to your home or business. We get it done all the time. Make sure you mention the next round. For more information, hydralivetherapy.com.
So there's this website that's floating around out there where you can set all the outcomes and see who plays in the SEC championship game.
You've been using it a lot.
I have.
Is there somebody we can give credit to? Because I've seen this everywhere.
Well, it's just such a weird, it's bball.notnothing.net.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just such a weird name for
bball.notnothing.net.
bball.notnothing.net. bball.notnothing.net.
Like B-E or just b-ball like
B-ball,
basketball?
The letter B, ball.
Okay, b-ball.
Yeah. So that cleared everything up right there.
Yeah.
What we
I just want to throw some credit out because not just us, but everybody's
using it, and we're all just assuming this guy's right.
Great algorithm.
Yeah, we're all just assuming he's right. But as I've talked to people at the SEC, I do think he's correct.
Yeah, from the makers of TikTok, stealing SEC information for years.
If Auburn beats Texas A&M, and I can't run every possibility because you've got 12 total games here. If you tried to do every possible outcome, you'll be doing it the rest of your life. But if Auburn upsets Texas A&M, assuming Alabama beats both Oklahoma and Auburn, that's your assumption here.
I think we all are in agreement that Auburn's going to win this game Saturday night.
Auburn fans do not like, especially 4-6 Troy from Campbellsville, Kentucky, doesn't like me to say it, but I'm with you. I think Auburn wins the game.
Brown?
It's a tough one, man. I mean, I am hesitant to think Auburn can win back-to-back games.
I am not going off of Auburn. I'm sticking on them. But Auburn fans, if you're going to the game, you heard Dusty Dvoracek earlier talk about that Florida atmosphere. Florida, absolutely nothing to play for outside of pride and their fans. I think you're going to get that same kind of vibe Saturday night.
Last home game, biggest night game of the year. You don't have to worry about it.
It's going to be nuts.
Don't have to worry about Auburn fans.
Yeah. My point was going to be, if Auburn beats Texas A&M, assuming Alabama wins the rest of their games, assuming Texas beats Kentucky, the only outcome I can find that prevents the SEC championship game from being an Alabama-Georgia rematch is for Texas then to turn around and beat Texas A&M. And then it's Bama-Texas. Every other outcome I can find is Bama-Georgia. Now, Georgia's done with SEC play, so they can't be moved. And Alabama obviously has 2 games left. Texas has 2 games left, and A&M have 2 games left. But if Auburn pulls this slight upset, not even that big of an upset, over A&M, the only way it's not Alabama-Georgia is if Texas also beats Texas A&M.
And one thing I'm learning in these scenarios, Ole Miss just
they don't factor in at all.
No shot at Atlanta.
Don't factor in at all.
That is crazy.
I mean, I guess the only way Ole Miss.
Well, when if Alabama loses, not win, but if Alabama loses, then Ole Miss becomes a playmaker.
Well,
too many scenarios.
Yeah, there are too many scenarios, but I think for Ole Miss, you're probably Ole Miss and Tennessee are going to need a lot of teams to get to 3 conference losses.
Yeah.
They don't need to be in the 2-loss tie.
They're going to need the big one to get out of the way, which is Alabama.
That's right. That's right. That's the one that holds most of the cards.
Yeah, and that helps Ole Miss because Alabama's not on Ole Miss's schedule. Actually, would hurt Tennessee because that would bring down their win percentage against common opponents.
Now, if Ole Miss could get in a 2-way tie with Georgia, they're in Atlanta because they would hold the head-to-head. If it's down to a 2-way tie, that's when head-to-head could mean something for Ole Miss. Right now, it doesn't really mean anything.
All those scenarios brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports.
There are a lot of them.
Your scenarios for great gifts made easy.
Yeah, next Wednesday we're actually live at Academy Sports and Outdoors, the brand new location right there on Highway 280 in the old Best Buy up in the Target Shopping Center. Cahaba Park Circle, that's where you'll find us. They're 9 to noon, so come do some pre-Black Friday shopping, pre-Thanksgiving shopping, 9 to noon. Also register for tickets to the big game in Tuscaloosa coming up next weekend. You can do that right now at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. Very easy to register there, or you can come do it in person. But we will draw on Friday. At the end of Friday's show, we're going to draw. We're going to let you know who won. I think we're going to do it at the start of the last hour Friday in the Black Friday show. So we'll draw Friday, let you know who wins right there from Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy Sports and Outdoors, great selection of brands like Nike, Stanley Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Can't wait. Brandon says in the mybookie.ag casino chat room, A&M has to stay focused. I'm in Texas right now. Cannot tell you how huge next week's game is. Texas and Oklahoma is a rivalry, but Texas and A&M is personal. Imagine if Bama and Auburn didn't play for 13 years.
Yeah, that's a big factor in this.
And I wonder if that's part of the reason why you think A&M could struggle. The atmosphere of Auburn, there's some things that doesn't match up well, A&M against Auburn, but also that ability that the Aggies could be looking ahead a little bit.
Well, I mean, Mike Elko doesn't say so, right?
Well, they're focused on Auburn.
Excuse me.
I think there is a little bit of the look ahead factor. I mean, that's what Mike Elko gets paid a lot of money for. I know it's year one, but you've got to be able to keep your guys focused because, yeah, it would be nice to knock Texas out of potentially the college football playoff. But at the same time, you control your own destiny right now to get into the college football playoff.
Right.
But if you lose this game, you have absolutely no shot on Saturday night in Jordan-Hare. But I do think they lose. And again, I've said it for a long time. I think A&M's going to beat Texas.
The group of teams that can play their way, all they got to do is keep winning in their college football playoff has just shrunk. But A&M's still in that group.
Yeah. And Texas, both of them.
Yeah.
That makes it even better, as everyone's saying in the chat room. 4 Downs every day, brought to you by our friends at Slice. This is LT's favorite time on the show every week when Tyler gives us his 4 Downs on Thursday.
A little overhyped there. A little overhyped.
So you enjoy these.
I am Joe Tessitore. This is the greatest 4 Downs of all time. It's 10:22, and it's already the greatest 4 Downs of all time.
I just saw this 4 Downs. Pretty shaky 4 Downs, but I think he threw it together late, right?
I did.
Oh, good, man.
I have a lot
okay.
on my plate these days.
2 weeks after being labeled the favorite part of the show, now you're shaky with him, I tell you.
I said I love when he does 4 Downs. I never said it was favorite. That is a good. You are a Tessitore of types.
Over the top.
5 locations to that you can get in for lunch or dinner. You're going to absolutely love it. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montebello, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get in and see the Bajaga Brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Tyler, give us your mediocre first down.
All right.
First down.
So this one is a shaky one. I actually stole it from Tim on the meltdown.
Wow.
Give him his mic. You throw him under the bus.
Well, Tim.
He didn't even accurately steal it. But anyway, please continue, Tyler.
So you're mailing it in too now, Tim?
I guess so.
Yeah, this is a shaky question.
Yeah. Well, let's get the original question so it's not shaky.
All right. Well, you asked the right question then, Tim.
I don't remember what the 5th option is off the top of my head right now.
I didn't either.
Something about Korn. It wasn't Taylor Korn, though.
No, okay. Not Taylor Korn. Actual Korn.
That just tells me you thought about it, though. That it wasn't Taylor Korn.
It wasn't Taylor Korn.
Yeah. Different spelling.
Rank these: candy corn, corn pops, corn mazes, corny jokes.
Okay, for the record.
Cornbread?
No, it wasn't cornbread.
It wasn't cornbread.
Taylor Corn would have been one on my list.
That's right.
Taylor would have easily won this
I'm
one.
going to go the Corn Pops. I don't think it's a bad cereal. I haven't had it in forever. I think, too, I would go with the Corn Maze. I only see them about once every couple of years.
No.
Well, the corny jokes suck, but I'll take them at
they're
3.
number 1. Corny jokes are number 1.
And then the candy corn is number 4.
Yeah, I think you've got it in the right order. I actually like candy corn, which I know puts me in the minority on this show. I know, Tyler, you're about to die there,
Disgusting.
but I do like candy corn.
He only likes them because everyone else hates them.
That's so mean.
Do you like circus peanuts too?
No,
He
God,
does.
they're
He
awful.
loves them.
No,
God,
those
you know,
are
as a
awful.
kid, I did, and those
Did
things
you?
are disgusting.
God, I hate those.
That
I hate
shows
those.
you how much the palate can change.
Yeah.
Because those damn orange circus peanuts, I used
awful.
to destroy those things.
For some reason, they're banana flavored.
Yeah, it's a weird
Kettle
taste.
corn, by the way, was the other option.
Kettle corn.
Kettle corn is number 1.
Whoa. Let's change this.
I've got a bag of Boom Chicken Pop sitting at the house
That's
waiting
good.
on me.
That's good stuff.
Kettle corn
it is
version.
good. Yeah. All right. So now I got to go back. Kettle corn is 1.
Yeah.
Candy corn 2. Corn Pops, I'm okay with them. I don't really love
I don't
them.
even
but
know
I'm
what
okay
they
with
are.
them.
I've had
It's
the
Big
cereal.
yellow.
They're about yay big.
In the trailer park, we had Quest, or this is that the same thing?
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of
I think
Quest.
that's a club that shut down.
It is, in fact.
Nelton, did they shut down finally?
Well, people are still getting murdered there, but it shut down.
Okay, all right. Corn Maze, I've never been in, but it's got to be better than Corny Jokes. So that'd be my ranking there.
Yeah.
Second down.
I like kettle corn, then corn chips.
All right, we
that
had
wasn't
a
even
bit
a
of a
choice.
lack of
yeah.
good celebrity birthdays today.
Uh-huh.
Carly Rae Jepsen, Call Me Maybe, turns 38 today. Who's your favorite one-hit wonder?
Oh, by the way, that was at one point Freddie Freeman's walk-up song.
Well, he lost a bet. That's why, right?
For the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, he lost a bet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, it's a great song. I think most people like it. I got 5 on it, Lunis.
That's a good one.
Yeah, 1995. They were together for years, but I don't remember anything else ever rolling out from those guys.
I think, I don't think this song ever had this band ever had another song that was any good. Take On Me by Aha. Did they ever do anything else?
I don't know any other.
I actually heard it last night. Our friend Abby Jo filled in there at Trivia. Lance had to be out, and she played that song. I like that song.
Was she in charge of music last night?
Yeah, man. She was in charge of music.
She's
Abby
the
Jo.
marketing director for Taco Mama.
That's right. She had the playlist last night, approved by Dayton, she told me. She had to get it approved by Dayton. And he approved Take On Me, and I like that song. And I don't think AHA ever did anything else worthwhile that I'm aware of.
Okay, so I just went to a top one-hit wonder playlist here. Major Tom.
Never liked that song.
Peter, it's not even the guy. I
It's
thought
not
Major
David Bowie. It's Peter something. It's
Yeah,
a
I thought
German
Major
guy.
Tom was David Bowie.
That's Space Oddity is the name of Ground Control to Major Tom.
Voices Carry till Tuesday is the only one-hit wonder I have.
I thought Till Tuesday did something else.
It's on this wonder. It's the only one that I have that is downloaded with a green arrow beside it that says I have listened to this. So I'm going to go Voices Carry. My least favorite song is a one-hit wonder. It is what?
Come On, Eileen.
Come On, Eileen.
Oh,
Hate it.
I was going to say that 4 and 6 Troy in the chat actually has the best answer, and that's Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah.
It's
a good 80s song.
It is. You sing right along with it. I like it.
Can't
Come
stand
on, Eileen.
If this was the Vietnam War and I was in prison camp, they, instead of putting bamboo under my fingernails, they would play that song on repeat.
Come on, Eileen.
You always see the torture scene and they play like the liquid metal.
Yeah.
There is some people that like liquid metal.
That's right. That would be like a fantasy.
But they play it on 30.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
with these lights shining down.
Slipknot, I think.
Yeah.
Slipknot?
They would be with subtitles saying, American G.I. Joe, do you want bamboo under your fingernails or us to play Dixie Midnight Runners nonstop? I would say bamboo under the fingernails.
Give me the bamboo.
Third down.
Michael Strahan turns 58 today. When it's all over, after they've both had their run in media, Michael Strahan had his run in football already. Who will have the better career, Strahan or Travis Kelce?
So Kelsey's got more rings. Strahan's got multiple rings. I lean that Strahan was a little bit better of a player on the field. And what Strahan has created off the field has been amazing. And he's got a true, genuine personality and a good talent set off the field. I think Travis Kelce is so forced, so hokey. I think his likability is almost zero. That's personally me.
I think that is personally you.
Yeah,
yes.
I think there's other people that agree with me.
Well,
I'm
there
probably
are.
the minority, but Michael Strahan, I just think for where he was coming into the league to where he is now. It's an amazing transformation.
So the weird thing about Strahan is he pursued a news career, which now he still does the Fox show as
the
well.
Fox Studio show on Sundays.
So that introduces him to a whole new audience and takes him away from his core audience. There are a lot of NFL fans that spend zero time watching morning news shows. I can't tell you the last morning news show I've ever watched, Today or Good Morning America or whatever. Can't tell you. I'm aware he does that. I think he's their main guy, but I'm not certain. So he's introduced himself to a whole new group of people. So is Kelce because of who he's dating and perhaps would marry. I mean, he has introduced himself to an entirely new generation of people.
But
that's why I say Kelce.
That his podcast was one of the biggest.
Yeah, but
in the
nothing
country.
compared to what he is now.
People that like to hear two annoying brothers talk.
Yeah, it's an entertaining podcast. Kelce is no drive-by on him, but it's Strahan. Strahan's much more talented of a broadcaster, equal or slightly better football player. But when it comes to broadcasting, plus as a businessman, Strahan is also a producer of shows like game shows and sitcoms and things like that. So Michael Strahan is the better businessman.
I will just tell you this because you said their whole career. I have got a 10-year-old daughter who can name you 3 NFL players: Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and Travis Kelce. You know why she could name you the first 2. She knows the third one for one reason and one reason only. And that's why I say this guy has, whatever he decides to do, he has been introduced to it. Now, if he ever breaks up with her.
And that's why
if he ever breaks up with her, it's a game changer.
Always believed the theory that it was a manufactured relationship. I did hear that about your boy Zach Bryan and the Brie Chicken Fry, too.
But that was all manufactured?
Yeah, that her contract was coming up. And have you heard that? I mean, I really heard that.
I have not heard that at all. But, you have different sources than I do. I just get what is fed to me by TikTok and BFFs and Dave Portnoy.
You're getting one side of the story.
I am. I'm getting one side of the story.
Only side he cares about.
I'm aware.
Who's the guy, American Idol?
Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, Ryan Seacrest. I think Strahan will not be Ryan Seacrest level, but Strahan, when you look at everything he's involved in, will have that many W-2s coming in. He does a lot of things.
I'm sure.
Well, you could get him to do anything for you. Like, you could have him host. Is there any event he couldn't host?
Who's Strahan? No, he's that talented.
No, but also just he's not just hosting. He's like owning productions and things that you don't even see him in.
He's beating the system.
Yeah, he was the producer for the show that never happened. Remember Brittany Wagner? They were doing Her Life. And Courtney Cox was starring as Brittany Wagner.
Well, I mean,
but he was the executive producer behind that.
Not off the table. Sometimes it takes a long time to get that stuff to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could. I'm just saying, but he was the production company behind it.
That's right. Is that that's third down, right?
4th down.
Today marks the 48th anniversary of the 1976 movie Rocky. Who is the best villain in the Rocky movies?
For me, it's easy. It's raw eggs in Rocky 1. To crack open raw eggs and then guzzle however many it was, 4 of them, 5 of them.
Out of that dirty ass glass, in that dirty ass sweatshirt, in that dirty ass apartment. Salmonella was all over the place. And he did survive that.
That was a drive-by, man. Yeah. Doing that, I was like, that villain. Get out of my gut.
But
it's Ivan Drago.
It's Drago. It's Drago because of where we were in the world at that point. He symbolized what we believed Russia was all just encompassing, evil.
It was such a...
And Dolph Lundgren was such a massive figure. And, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a propaganda movie. It really was. If you think of Rocky IV, it was just... They were just 100% playing on our emotions at that time, that everybody was scared of war between the United States and Russia. And they're like, let's make some money off that, which, I mean, that's a good business plan.
I just wonder what the
Did they
pull
do that
was.
with Red Dawn? Did they do that with
there were a lot of movies then.
When they remade Red Dawn, they changed it to North Korea.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you lean on that narrative. I just wonder how, kids in Russia, how they embraced Rocky IV back in the day. Because watching the Americans the second time through, how their view of America and how evil Ronald Reagan was.
Yeah.
Drago wins in their version of it.
That's a not
probably, or they probably didn't allow the film to air that. I think number 2 would be Clubber Lang. He basically was responsible for Mickey's death. He wanted to violate Adrian. in so many ways.
That is a pretty bad villain. You're right about that when you put it that way.
You see the power of chemistry and teamwork there. Crappy 4 downs from you.
Yeah,
and we
barely made an effort.
And we made it entertaining.
Hey, let's set the record straight. Crappy 3 downs from Tyler. One of those was mine.
That is right.
That he stole and then criticized me for stealing.
And messed up.
I know.
Yeah.
He stole, scratched it, broke it, and still presented it as his own. Brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 locations. Stop in, get a slice and a salad today. Pick up a couple of pizzas on your way home, from the soul pie to the hot mama, the Bajaya special. I mean, all the pizza's fantastic. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right. When we come back, we'll jump into some more college football. One more guest to go, Dan Orlovsky, at the top of the hour, talking about the National Football League. We've got the Steelers and the Browns tonight at 7:15. If Mike Tomlin and the Steelers win this game, this will be the 18th consecutive year that he has not had a losing record, Mike Tomlin. A win tonight secures a non-losing record for Mike Tomlin, even if they lose the rest of their games this year. An amazing streak.
But is it more incredible that he's had that streak, or more damning that he's gotten as little championship-wise out of that streak as he has?
Well, he does have the championship. He's played multiple Super Bowls. He had the one thing you could say, I kind of get this. It's a great organization, but he had a great quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. But since then, he hasn't. And he's been piecing this thing together. Last year, it was Kenny Pickett. This year, it's been both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I've got a friend that never loves to give me credit on Sean McVay. But this past weekend, he's like, man, I'm telling you, Sean McVay's great. But Mike Tomlin, the job he does year in, year out.
And I really like the guy, too.
Yeah, he's a likable guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how good of a coach he is. He's obviously a really good coach.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the players absolutely love him. And look, the numbers are the numbers. He doesn't lose.
18 years, oftentimes lately, with shaky quarterback play without a losing record. If they win tonight against Cleveland, after the show on our platforms, Brownie and I will show you a couple of props. Here's a hint. It'll be the props on interceptions from the Steelers secondary off of Jameis Winston. LT will have a play for you at lanceslock.com. That game and a host of great basketball tonight. Lance's Lock brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Does it look somewhat easy? The Browns at home catching only 3.5. They've lost 7 of 8.
Yeah, that's
it does look easy. As he hints at lanceslock.com.
Nothing's easy in the AFC North. Yes, coming off another winning night for you last night. We've got the NFL. We've got the side of that game. We've got side of the ACC matchup tonight with NC State and Georgia Tech. We've got multiple college basketball games up, and we've got to play in the NBA. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit Urology Centers, Alabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Back with you on the Next Round. Before LT tells you about our friends at Inverness, a couple of college football things here, and we'll get back to Alabama basketball. I'm going to go, I hate to say it, but I'm going to go bad news first. Mack Brown says he's coming back next year to North Carolina.
It's bad news if I'm a North Carolina fan. Personally, I think we all like Mack Brown. I don't have anything against him.
Like Mack a lot.
Well, if I'm a Carolina fan, I feel like that program is going nowhere
well,
right now.
I start looking around if I'm a Carolina fan, and you thought for, every 5 years you should be in the mix to play for an ACC championship game. But now when you look around and you see some of these other programs and the success, like if Arizona State can have success, Colorado, Indiana, why can't North Carolina in the ACC?
Would you, if you're John Summerall, would you leave Tulane for North Carolina?
Yeah.
I think I would too.
So if I think I can hire that type of coach, now obviously we're very fond of Coach Summerall here, but I'm just talking about that level of coach. That's a massive upgrade.
Yeah, and I look at this
point
too.
In their careers.
SMU in year one's probably going to win that conference. Like if SMU can do it, why can't we?
And that's
do it?
the thing. There's no way you could hire Rhett away from SMU to North Carolina.
No, but
not a chance.
Here's what we've seen that could happen now too. We could go the Coach Sig method. John Summerall could go to North Carolina. He could also take with him his redshirt freshman quarterback that he's gotten all seasoned this year at Tulane and a bunch of Tulane players with him in the portal to North Carolina. And all of a sudden, that's an instant good team there. And clean read here, I will always like Mack Brown for one specific reason. His stubbornness not to step down in Austin at Texas kept Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa, if you believe reports. So Alabama fans should say, thank you, Mack Brown, for national championship 2015, 2017, 2020.
Well, look, and he did win a national championship in 2005 with, I don't want to say it was one of the greatest upsets, but it was one of the greatest games in college football history. Played for another one in 2009. If his quarterback wouldn't have gotten hurt, what would have happened?
Oh, Texas would have won if the quarterback hadn't gotten hurt on the fourth play. They had already made a decision on the fourth play. They were winning that game, by the way. I will say this. the future of the ACC is obviously uncertain, but North Carolina is not left out. Like, there's no scenario where North Carolina is just out in the cold and they got to go somewhere like the Big 12.
No, they'll be a Big 10
They'll be
or SEC.
SEC or Big 10
Well,
one day.
I mean, look, the eyeballs that they bring, I don't know really what the fandom's like when it comes to football, but basketball is obviously huge. The academics.
Market, they are the predominant team in that state. That's a big state with a lot of metropolitan markets that are TV rated. North Carolina's future's fine.
Yeah, in fact, coveted.
But I would not want him back.
I wouldn't either.
Our friends at Inverness Country Club.
Great country club. We did a broadcast for our friend Lauren Sisler there a couple of months ago. Just a fantastic place. Find your sense of community at Inverness Country Club. They've got memberships that fit everyone, the social membership, the golf membership. Inverness Country Club, great place to meet others in the community. Maybe you've relocated or retired. Inverness is a great place to network. Childcare also a big plus. Maybe you and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid. Go have yourself a day on the court or course. The best days happen at Inverness. You can take a tour of this unbelievable club. Call Erin. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608. 205-991-8608 or online ICCalabama.com.
Was there good news, too? You said good news, bad news. Are you going to get the good news?
Both bad news. Jim McElwain also stepping down, and I hope Alabama fans remember him, not for the fake shark at Florida or the Connor Stallions thing that could be costing him his job.
That's why he's stepping down.
At Central Michigan, but remember him as the guy who came in after Major Applewhite and helped John Parker Wilson get to the SEC championship in 2008 and then Greg McElroy to the national championship in 2009. Jim McElwain was a big reason why that offense did what it had to do to become national champions.
Yeah, look, McElwain was a really good assistant coach. It hasn't really worked out at Central Michigan. I think this is probably one of those mutual decisions where you can walk out on your own or we can fire you. But McElwain was pivotal back in the day. I can't get it out of my head, though. Every time his name comes up, I do think of the guy that was not him.
It wasn't even him.
That was naked on the back of a fish. It's kind of like Bobby Hurley. He had a great Duke career, but I remember him having the shits at the Final Four. I mean, there's just certain things that
I don't remember that. Yeah,
yeah, I don't remember that about Bobby Hurley.
Yeah,
but
he had to run off the court.
No, I remember the story. Every time it's brought up, I just never remember
I don't think
it.
of that. Yeah. But I mean, I can't.
But is there something like minor that is just a ridiculous little detail about a figure that when you hear their name, that's all you can think about?
I can't hear "Can't You See" by Marshall Tucker without thinking about a place I wasn't even at. It's that massive fight Lance was at. I wasn't even there. But it's all I think about every time I hear that song.
Stone's throw from the rabbit hole.
That's right.
I can't fight one off on the golf course without thinking of you running up in the woods and using a golf towel.
You weren't even there.
And I wasn't even
in
there.
College at that time.
But I tell that story all the time. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the turn, guys. One time, my friend Ryan Brown didn't even make it to the turn. He ran up into the woods.
I was at a golf tournament, too. I was like, I said, y'all please don't tee off on 10 without me, because I get disqualified if they tee off on 10 without me.
Yeah.
Our friend Stephanie showed up at Rodney Scott's last night, and she was like, it's just amazing. Because I was talking to her and her daughter about something about trivia one night. And she's like, some of the things that you remember, it's crazy. But music brings back most of the stuff. Like if you guys threw a song to me, like Can't You See?
Yeah.
Like there are certain moments in time that I can tell you exactly what was going on with just one song. And it always brings me back to that moment.
38 Special, Caught Up in You.
Miracle Strip.
Babby Ho-Cut, Miracle Strip.
See, we do it with each other now.
That little ride that just goes around and around. And I think it was Something Inferno. And I was like,
Dante's Inferno, right?
Yeah, Dante's Inferno. And I'm like to myself, life cannot get any better than this. We're here at the Miracle Strip in PC with one of the coolest girls ever, and 38 Special Caught Up in You is playing.
And she says, hey, do you have Tommy's phone number?
Oh, it's exactly, anybody but you, Jim. Or Junior, as I was called back then. It's hard to love a junior.
I-65, exit 304 at Coleman, 334 Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. You can also find them online, johnstonrvcenter.com. Go see American and RV from Johnston RV Center. They love the United States military the way we do on this show. They give great discounts, just a very small token of their appreciation to anybody that is active duty or our veterans as well. Travel trailers as low as $145 a month. Fifth wheels start at $45,000. The savings do start at $45,000. And RV warranty forever. Make sure you're covered lifetime on anything new or qualifying pre-owned. See all I'm talking about at johnstonrvcenter.com.
And you mentioned Rodney Scott's. We were there last night. Before you tell us about Rodney Scott Barbecue and everything that we can get there, especially the Trustful location.
I've got an update.
But Morgan, our guy, who was there last night. He says, what do I do now until December 14th for my free time? Alabama doesn't have another home game from him to drive from Elizabethtown all the way down here for an Alabama basketball game. I guess he made it home safely. He's over in the chat room now. What a great time at Rodney Scott's last night.
Rodney Scott's, they're going to do everything for you this Thanksgiving. Turnkey. From that spatchcock turkeys that are pit cooked, smoked over the hot coals for hours, seasoned with their famous Rib Rub Rod's original sauce. Serve James Beard award-winning barbecue. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. You see the QR code right there. You can order the spatchcock turkey. Not only that, homemade southern sides and desserts, all right there from our friends at Rodney Scott's. If you're driving around just listening to us, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. That's RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
So do you guys remember last night when we were going through all the barbecue sauces they had at Rodney Scott's, and we got to the Bama 16, and,
that's right.
We couldn't figure out why it was named that, and we're like, maybe it's got 16 ingredients or something like that.
Or maybe it was made originally when Alabama had 16 national championships. Maybe it was made in 2016.
Yeah.
And then they went on to win it in 17 and 2020, and they haven't updated the label.
So Brandon reached out to me on Twitter and said, hey, I'm watching the live show. I think he was watching it on demand based on the time he sent the DM. The Bama 16 sauce is named after my father-in-law. His father-in-law, a name you guys will recognize, Paulette Carruth. You remember him?
Wow, number 16,
Number
Paulette
16 at
Carruth?
Bama. And he said...
One of my favorite players of all time, Paulette Carruth.
Yeah, he said he told Rodney Scott's they needed a more traditional Alabama-style sauce, and they wanted to name it the Paulette Carruth sauce. And he's like, no, don't do that. Just you name it whatever. So they named it the Bama 16 sauce.
That is fantastic.
Now, I'm assuming that's a true story. I'm just going on Brandon's word there.
Better tradition than your Northwestern Michigan.
Guys, that was a good tradition. You all hijacked it by making fun of the photo. It's a great story. A transfer portal in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story.
But Paulette Carruth, number 16, and that's the Bama 16 sauce, which is pretty cool.
I'm all in now.
Yeah, that's
Bama
the one
16.
you're going to use now, right?
Bama 16, that's
Bama
my
16.
sauce
Yeah,
now.
so shout out Brandon and shout out to his father-in-law, Paulette Carruth. Alabama great. There's a photo from Scott of the Bama 16.
Loved watching that guy play.
Yeah. Back in the Ray Perkins era, right? Or did he played late Bear Bryant and then
I think it was
Ray
a
Perkins?
crossover, yeah.
Crossover?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there you go. There's the story behind that.
He may have been one of the pallbearers.
Might have been. I do not know the answer to that.
Somebody Google for me pallbearers for Bear Bryant.
Pallbearers for Bear Bryant.
Yeah. Pallbearers, Paul Bear Bryant. I never realized that was so much alike.
Yeah. That's where the phrase came from.
It was not. Here are the other stuff you need to know in college football before we do a little bit more Bama basketball and then talk to Orlovsky while Brown's looking it up. Dave Portnoy. Remember my interaction with Dave Portnoy last year at the Rose Bowl pregame?
You guys had a moment.
Because I was like, he had, was it $1 million bet on Michigan winning the national? Here it is. This is me I said, you still feel confident about Michigan, man? He's like, so. Shaky.
Yeah.
Shaky. They go on to win the national championship. He pockets big money. So now, fast forward, he's pretty good at gambling, apparently, when it comes to college football. He has put $100,000 down on who to win the national championship. Alabama.
Well, he's got money to piss away.
He does, doesn't he? He's trying to buy a quarterback.
That is one of the most difficult things to do this time of the year, to just randomly say this team is going to win the national championship in college basketball.
But you sort of agreed
it's college football.
Yeah, college football.
Oh, college football.
Yeah.
I thought he went basketball.
No, $100,000 for Alabama football to win it. It will pay $1,100,000 if he wins it.
So he's getting 11-1.
He's getting 11-1.
Yeah.
But you sort of think that's a good bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, college football national championship winner at mybookie.ag, Bama is plus 770. So that'd pay him $770,000.
Yeah.
So
But
he's getting it somewhere 11-1. Yeah, he got
Yeah.
better odds than that. I mean, if you had to do it, this is at mybookie.ag right now. If you absolutely had to do it, somebody said, here's $100,000, but you got to bet one of these. You tell me which one you would bet. All right. Ohio State plus 310. You just
No
stop.
chance.
No chance. Oregon plus 440.
No chance.
Georgia plus 480.
I'd start taking a look at that.
I think I would go Oregon so far. Go ahead.
Texas plus 500.
Nope.
Bama plus 770.
I'm holding Oregon.
Okay. Still over Georgia and Bama?
I am.
You're getting longer odds on Georgia and Bama.
But I get no odds if they don't win the national championship.
The same's true with Oregon. Ole Miss 970. That's almost $100,000 into $1 million if Ole Miss finds a way to win it.
Can Saban drive the bus?
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. Like, Lane Kiffin finally won a big game, but is he going to win 3 or 4?
Notre Dame plus 1975.
Yep.
No.
Penn State plus 2,000.
No chance. Alabama's your
Indiana. Your boys Indiana plus 2,500.
Yeah, I still don't see it. I'd love to see it, but I think Alabama's your best value out there.
7. So that must be what Portnoy saw too, right?
Yeah.
How about the memory for young Jim Dunaway? Tyler writes in. Is Tyler behind the glass? Tommy Wilcox, Paul Ott Carruth, Walter Lewis, Gerald Sprinkle, Mike McQueen, Paul Fields, Jeremiah Castile, and Darrell White. They were the pallbearers for.
See, I got different in this article.
That's from the Bryant Museum.
Oh, I
would say they got it right.
I mean, this article is from.
Do you have a photo you want to make fun of in this?
The UPI archives, January 28, 1983. 8 Husky players carried Paul Bear Bryant to his grave. Yep.
I see that article. Is it Husky as in Washington Husky?
No,
or Husky as in
no.
Big?
Here's what they said. Yes. Pallbearers were Jeremiah Castile, Jarrell Sprinkle, Tommy Wilcox, Paul Fields, Walter Lewis, Eddie Lowe, Mike McQueen, and Darrell White.
They had as different as McQueen and Paul Ott Carruth, I think.
Okay, Assistant Alabama coach Kent Johnston said the family picked them. They wanted the Husky ones. It appeared they had leaned towards quickness instead. Only 2 of the pallbearers weighed over 200 pounds, although, quote, all were remarkably muscular. Very weird article.
It is kind of odd. We're taking shots at them, then calling them muscular.
I promise you Bama basketball in just a second, but as
I'm holding my breath.
While we're going with Paul Bear Bryant here, this was sent to me earlier this week from Mountain Brook Trading on social media. For sale right now, this used to be a really big deal. 2 plots, 50 yards diagonal from legendary coach Paul Bear Bryant's Elmwood Cemetery's lot 23, block 37.
So I'm kind of across the street caddy corner, basically.
You're just 50 yards away diagonal from Coach Bryant's grave.
I mean, that's a long way away.
For sale right now. And it's $10,000 a piece. I mean, $10,000 total.
What? All right, so there's a photo, by the way, of Coach Bryant being carried out of the church. So if you recognize any of those players, I'm sure they had a lot of pallbearers, not enough for all the handles. You have some honorary, too.
Boy, a lot of people at this funeral.
What is, he's a popular guy.
I mean, Bobby Dodd was there.
Yeah. Everybody was
Woody
there.
Hayes was there. Frank Broyles.
What's a normal burial plot go for at Elmwood?
I would think more than that, you know.
I mean, $10,000 kind of seems like a deal, especially if I'm that close to the coach.
And you're getting two plots.
Yeah, and I would think that Elmwood's probably
pretty full, right?
Yeah, I would think. Max capacity.
Yeah.
I think it's such a waste of land.
It is.
I really do. That's why I'm being cremated.
I'm
on my way out to Rodney Scott's in Trussville yesterday, and listen, all my friends.
Can we
in
put you in the
Trussville,
pit?
Go to Rodney Scott. Will you spatchcock me?
Yeah. I'm gonna pass. I'm sure there's somebody out here in this world that might spatchcock you, but
that will make it into
there's a little tease into the year review.
Yeah.
I'll pour some Bama 16 on you.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Just keep the Alabama white sauce.
All right, you're on your way to Rodney Scott's, and what? I want to hear the rest of this.
There's a big cemetery right there.
There
And I
is,
just think to myself, what a waste of land.
So our old studio at Jocks was up on Red Mountain, and it overlooked Elmwood Cemetery.
Yep.
And we would have
to this every person that would fly in, Brent.
Yeah, they would come in studio.
But Brown would tell the story.
Yeah, they would come in the studio. They'd be like, "Man, that's a cool park down there.
Cool park.
What is that? A Central Park-like thing in Birmingham?" We're like, "No, it's a cemetery."
Yeah, it's just a cemetery.
But I would always tell them, the legendary Alabama coach Bear Bryant's buried there.
And we could also see Legion Field on the horizon.
Yeah, we could. That's right. That's where the coach coached his games. He wanted to be buried as close there as he could. And it does seem like a total waste.
Yeah, I do agree. Anytime I'm like driving somewhere on a trip and you look over and you see all of this beautiful land and all of that marble on it, doesn't make a lot of sense.
We've talked about one of the most expensive cemeteries in the world is actually in Tuscaloosa. The land that is right next to Bryant-Denny Stadium, do you know what that land could go for?
I've already told you. I would give some of that money to the families and ask to, it's not excommunicate.
Excavate. Yeah. Excavate, yes.
To move the body somewhere else.
Excommunicate was John Wick.
I don't know how many people are in that cemetery, and I don't know what that land would go for. I mean, That's a ton of,
game day condos?
Game day condos, yeah. Like if they came to you.
100%. You don't even have to finish the sentence.
Yeah. We've got your great-grandfather's here. You want to exhume him?
You know what I would tell him?
Yeah.
You know who's not there is my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
His remains might be, but he ain't there.
Yeah, just
hand me the money.
Just don't put a roof over Brian Denny because he watches the Tide every Saturday.
But is there a number that's disrespectful for you?
Yeah, there's a disrespectful number. It's still the remains of my great-grandfather.
Exhume. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, but I would say at this point,
Wes Morgan driving 6 hours to an Alabama basketball game one way. He's got a better vocabulary than me.
It's weird you bring up that cemetery because I had this thought the other day. I'm very morbid, but I remember my buddy Danny Daniels. We were walking in Bryant-Denny one night. It was after a night at the bars and the gates were open. And it was
no game there.
And I remember him looking over there. We were freshmen, so we were 18 years old, and he's like, "Won't be long."
Yeah.
Won't be long.
Now, Smuff says that's how you get a curse on your program is you build stuff on top of the cemetery.
Well, that's what Walker says. Put the new basketball arena there. Nate Oates would be like,
no, we're good.
Yeah.
I'll play in Coleman.
Already survived Mark Sears scoring 0 against the top 25 team.
Ghosts in Coleman.
Well, it would turn into a home Jordan Hare for Alabama, right?
It would be, built on a burial ground.
All right, we'll get to Bama basketball after we talk to Dan Orlovsky. The show being brought to you today in part by our friends at Grace Tree Services. If you've got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 pines that are dead and could become just Mother's Nature's spear to try to end your life in a windstorm, you want to get those things taken down before they do damage. That's what Lance did at his house.
Absolutely. It could be 40 pines. These guys, they've got the equipment. They can do it all. Experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Family-owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham, trusted by nearly every golf course in town. At the Birmingham Zoo, no competition. Call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code or visit gracetree.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for the next round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after the next round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Hewer joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get the next round.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
Hang out with the next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the next round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dan Orlovsky joins us in a second to talk about the NFL, Steelers, and Browns tonight. This hour of the show brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com. champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Man, so many of you have told us over the years and most recently about going by Champy's for the first time. It's hard to believe that there's some of you that are only doing it for the first time, but there are. And you go by there and you say, my goodness, it lived up to exactly what you were talking about. So consistent. The fried chicken that's brined overnight, cooked to order, comes out piping hot. The Mississippi Delta recipe tamales and all the great sides. It is a destination food location. Our friends at Champy's, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Hey, congratulations to Andy Moore, his lovely wife. Bam Strong, the golf tournament we help out.
Yeah.
For Children's Hospital of Alabama. They gave a check after, I think, 5 years of doing the tournament. They gave a check yesterday. Here it is, a check presentation from that one golf tournament over at Old Overton. $583,542 in their son's memory to Children's Hospital.
That's great. That is amazing.
How about that?
That is crazy.
That is great work there.
That much money they've raised on that?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that check, $583,000 and some change straight to Children's Hospital from Bam Strong, Andy Moore and his family there, and all the people that played. Our viewers and listeners, thank you for supporting that.
Good people right there, and that's a great cause, and Children's Hospital is as good as it gets. All right, let's talk some NFL with Dan Orlovsky. He joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Don't forget, when you use code NEXTROUND right now, they're helping you out over in the casino side at MyBookie.ag. 300% bonus on your initial deposit. 300% deposit match for you. And 50 free spins in the casino there at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. What is up, Dan? How are you?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Jim brought this up a moment ago that tonight, if Pittsburgh wins, and they'll eventually get there, they're not going to lose the remainder of their games, Mike Tomlin will extend the streak of non-losing seasons to 18. Can you put into terms how remarkable it is to do that in today's NFL?
Yeah, I mean, if not for doing it, it's impossible. I mean, it's not only because of the world that we live in with the NFL and the free agency turnover, but also like the division that he's in. I mean, he's also within a division that has another incredibly long tenured head coach in John Harbaugh. He's in a division that has a quarterback that's a 2-time MVP winner. So to have the success that Tomlin's had in that division, knowing you're going up against a coach who's kind of rivaling it almost, who has a quarterback that's a superstar. And you also, I mean, Coach Tomlin's been doing it over the past couple of years without a Hall of Fame quarterback. You know, it obviously had been for a chunk of it, but the fact that that consistency has remained at the top without, you know, a quarterback that can stand toe to toe with the one that he has to go against so often in Lamar, it's absolutely remarkable.
I saw this morning where you redrafted the rookie quarterbacks this season, and everybody talks about Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Not enough people are talking about Bo Nix and Drake May. I had the opportunity as a Rams fan to watch Drake May this past weekend. I thought in the first half he outplayed Stafford. Second half, different story. Drake May kid can play. Bo Nix in that system has been fantastic. Tell people how you redrafted these rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, I struggled at 1-2 and then 3-4, kind of like that pairing essentially. I took Jaden still at number 1 just because the body of work this season does have value. I think what he's accomplished still is a really, really, really
Holland Tunnel gets you every time.
Yeah, driver took the tunnel this week, Dan. We don't normally take the tunnel.
Hold on a second. Dan will come back on the other side.
Dan will come out of the tunnel momentarily.
Yeah. This is New York City.
Yes, presented by mybookie.ag. Code next round. Code next round gets you.
Do you remember when Stallone had to save the city from the Holland Tunnel?
Here we go. Oh, he's back. He's out of the tunnel. There he is.
Different traffic this week.
Yeah, welcome back. The Dark Knight.
Well, it's the first time it's rained in New England in like 2 months. So it's almost like snow in the South, I would imagine. So, what I was saying was I struggled with the 1-2 pair and the 3-4 pair. I still took Jaden at 1 just because the body of work and what he's accomplished. I am interested to kind of see, can he keep it going, because the back half of the season, long year. I took Drake May at 2, but I almost put Drake May at 1. I think Drake May's kind of surging right now. He was remarkable against the Rams, and he's doing kind of what the other young men are doing, but with significantly less. I mean, he doesn't have a Terry McLaurin. He absolutely doesn't have a Sean Payton. He doesn't have a Keenan Allen or a DJ Moore. So really impressed with what Drake May's doing. And then 3-4, I struggled 3 because of what he's accomplishing. You know, Bo Nix playing at a high level, playing such a clean brand of ball. And then, but I put Caleb at 3 and I put Bo Nix at 4. Caleb, very encouraged of what he did last week, but that's kind of like, I want to see, can you do it again? Big challenge this week against Minnesota. But so far, I think the big takeaway is that the group looks really good.
Yeah, it really does. And off of that, because of our 5 big screens in front of our set here, you're in one of my visions. So I saw that too, and it made me think, boy, last year would have been a good time to draft quarterback. This year, I don't know. Is there 2 guys you like in this class coming out of college that if you need quarterback, you'd be happy to draft? Shedeur seems to be an easy answer. Do you like a second one?
You like with obviously not studying them all right now, I'm intrigued by Cam Ward just because of some of the in the pocket playmaking that looks really interesting. Again, I gotta really hone in on what his game is in totality. Quinn Ewers, I'm a fan of. I just don't know why he hasn't. Like, I've always believed for Quinn, he's so talented, and the play hasn't always gotten or matched the talent. I feel like the talent is greater than the player, the production, let me say it that way. I think Nuss will stay in college. I think it would be smart for Nuss to stay in college, but I'm intrigued by Nuss as well. I know he's kind of dipped down a little bit over the past couple of weeks, but I'm intrigued by his kind of pocket movement and his ability to throw the ball downfield, but I think he stays in school.
Dan Orlovsky with us, ESPN each week. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I forgot Jalen.
Yeah.
I think Jalen will be a guy that, Milroe's going to be a guy that physically is absolutely freaking remarkable, and he's improved as a passer, and teams are going to sit with him and just fall in love with his character, fall in love with the work ethic, fall in love with the way he carries himself. And I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of vaults up draft boards.
By the way, I'll point this out, and you don't have to. We had just brought it up earlier. JuJu Lewis is committing on McAfee's show right now. Your guy Pat McAfee, and he's just picked Colorado, which he was committed to your Trojans.
Yeah. And so what this tells me, Dan, is there's a good chance maybe. I mean, he's not going to go to Colorado if Deion's not there.
That's right. Right. It looks like prime staying.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You never know college football, right? But I think that to understand, to get a young man to flip from USC and Lincoln Riley to that school, you'd have to have a pretty good understanding. And also, Deion I don't know Deion, but he doesn't come across as a guy that would flip this young man just to bail on him. Again, I understand, you never know, all that stuff. He doesn't come across as that type of human to me.
Dan Orlovsky with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Bless you, Jim.
Thank you.
The Cincinnati Bengals, like Monday night, I'm watching your colleagues, Troy and Joe, and the Chargers are way out in front of that game, and they're just talking about how good this Chargers team is, how things have flipped. And boy, Cincinnati flipped that in a hurry and tied that game up. Is there a more entertaining team to watch lose games than Cincinnati?
No, and frustrating as well, though. I mean, I legit get angry over it because I'm watching, and I'm a massive fan of so many people in Cincinnati, and I know Zach Taylor, and I love Joe Burrow. I've been a huge fan of his ever since LSU, and I'm watching a guy legitimately play MVP level football, legitimately. And then I'm watching a receiver go for the triple crown. I mean, Jamar's going to contend for the triple crown. And you're sitting there going, you're not even going to get in the dance. We don't get to see this combo play, and you're not even going to get into the playoffs. And I've said this so much, like it's rare in the NFL. I know NFL games are close. I've experienced them. I know the margin of error is small, but I don't think it's that often where you go, wow, that team's not going to get into the playoffs, and they're 6 snaps from being the number 1 seed. Not 6 moments or 6 games, 6 snaps. And so they're unbelievable to watch. That offense is spectacular, but my goodness, to not find ways to win games is fast. It's frustrating.
Just because you did first-year quarterbacks, real quick on the second-year quarterbacks. So there's 4 guys starting right now: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. I would assume that you would go C.J. Stroud at number 1, although he has struggled without Nico Collins. Nico Collins finally back now as of last week. Anthony Richardson would be number 2, right? I mean, Anthony Richardson's shown a lot of upside.
Yeah, I think so. I think Anthony Richardson still is so supremely talented, and it's another big week for him against Detroit. But I still think of his physical talent, and the thing for me with Anthony was, at least reports that the benching was a little bit of attached to, like, they wanted him to be a little bit more of a pro on a day-to-day basis. Come out of school, that like what you heard about him was the opposite, that he was this unbelievable kid, great work ethic, tremendous maturity, highly intelligent. So that was a little bit for me trying to figure out, like, how did this happen? But I'm hoping that moment for him is pivotal in his kind of turnaround, I'll call it. But yeah, I still have a tremendous amount of belief in his untapped talent.
I never want a newspaper to read one ever again. I just want the back page of whatever that sports newspaper is in New York that has sports on the back headlines. It had to be an amazing time to be in New York this week. You have the Jets owner talking about wanting to bench Rodgers back in week 4, that story breaking, and now what they're doing with Daniel Jones with the Giants. That seems like a shell game for money reasons with the Giants. You're a former player. How would that sit in your locker room?
Yeah, I mean, you get the variety of understanding or of feelings. Most guys are going to sit there and they know it's a business. They know that it's a business decision, and you can dislike it, but you don't own the team, so you don't really get to say. And then, again, most guys are sitting there. If you think about the guys that are on the Giants football team, that their jobs are safe and that their money's good, it's a handful. So most of your team, 90+% of your team's trying to put out good tape. And trying to I got to take care of me. I was on bad teams where your season was over and you weren't playing for anything. Team goal. You're always a competitor. You're playing for your boys, the guys that you go out there on the field with. There's no doubt about it. but you're also very much playing for your career. You're playing to go put out tape and earn a job somewhere, earn opportunity somewhere, go get paid somewhere. And so, that's while you may not like it, you just come to the reality. I go, all right, I still got to go prepare and play the very best that I can and that I'm capable of, because I got to go make a living out of this. I'm 25. I think people lose sight of that sometimes. I'm 25. The only thing I've ever known in my life is football. And so I got to find a way to make this work, because I don't really have another plan of how I'm going to go support my family or build a life for myself. So that's a very real situation for those guys.
All right, see Dan on ESPN all weekend. The top game in the NFL this week, in fact, is on his network there. The Monday Night Football game is the Ravens are at the Chargers. That is Monday Night Football. Should be a spectacular game to kick off Thanksgiving week. Dan, thank you very much for the time. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday. Or actually, we will not. We'll see you next week sometime.
You got it. We'll talk, guys. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. Next Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. Dan with us, courtesy of mybookie.ag. This is how Vegas was built. Baltimore's laying 3 at the Chargers. That's a pretty good Chargers team on the road, laying 3 Monday night.
Yeah, but it's still Baltimore.
I was thinking Baltimore's only laying 3. See, it's funny how we looked at that differently. That's how Vegas was built.
That's true.
Laying 3 on the road against a quality team that will be in the postseason. I mean, that's
a lot of points in the NFL.
I thought that's where it would be, though.
Did you?
Yeah, just because it's the Ravens brand, the number's where it should be.
I think half of America looks at it and says, I can get the Chargers with 3, and the other half is look, I only have to give up 3 against the Chargers with the Ravens?
If you haven't watched Chargers this year, they're good.
What'd the Ravens do Sunday?
The Ravens lost.
Yeah. What'd the Ravens do 2 Sundays ago? Or 3 Sundays ago? They've lost 2 of their last 3.
Yeah.
They
I mean, we're treating them like, I know they're a really good football team, but let's don't talk about them like,
Yeah, and they
lost 2 of their
looked,
last 3.
I know it was on the road against Pittsburgh, a team that Lamar has really struggled with, but offensively, the play calls, they looked out of sorts.
I'm sure LT would, if you give him 100, I give him 100, he takes 10% off the top, he'll hold our bet. And I'll take the Ravens to give you 3.
Well, why don't y'all just bet each other $100 and there's no juice?
I was trying to work you in and give you a little,
give you a little
kickback, man.
Why don't I just do it at mybookie.ag?
No, that's what you would do. Mybookie.ag.
Code
while
next
you're there,
round.
spin the wheel while you're there.
That's right. Spin the wheel in that casino, in the live casino right now with code next round at mybookie.ag. They are giving you 300% of your initial deposit as a casino bonus. MyBookie.ag. That is when you use code next round at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
All right. Back to Alabama basketball quickly, and then some more college football. Cut number 5, if you can, Tyler. LeBaron Philon. Now he was, Kansas recruit. And then ends up at Alabama. He was a couple of different places was looking and searching for that place where he's going to fit in. And then Nate Oates told us this story last night, and here's part of it in the postgame locker room about LeBaron Philon, who, by the way, started last night. And so he's already worked his way into being a starter, and he is a dynamic player. Here's Nate Oates.
Hey, are you surprised LeBaron's this far along this fast?
You know what? From what I thought, when we go back to last spring when he opened his recruitment up and we took him, yes, I'm surprised from then. But if you'd asked me after the summer, after watching what he did June, July, August, September, he came in and established himself as one of the best guards in the program right out of the gate in the month of June. So I think he came in, competed. He had the right mindset coming in, though. Like when he opened his recruitment up, he kind of made the point. I think one of his statements might have been, if I'm not going to play much, because Kansas took a lot of transfer guards, that's where he'd sign. If I'm not going to play much, I'd rather be home in Alabama, if I'm not going to play much. Well, I just said, look, just come in and work hard, we'll see what you can earn. So he kind of just came in like expecting nothing, had to earn everything. And when you feel like you got to earn everything, that's when I think you start playing your best.
It's hard to imagine that this kid thought he wasn't going to okay, you didn't think you were going to get playing time at Kansas, but you're going to go home and you end up choosing Alabama, and you didn't think you were going to get playing time, and now he goes 16 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists last night, and for 2 games in a row, I think he's the best player on the floor.
I remember you were out of town. We did both Alabama's preseason games. We did play-by-play. You did the second one. The first one, you didn't know who was going to start. I knew Sears. I'm building my play-by-play chart, right? And I know Sears is going to start. I'm pretty sure Morey's going to start. You don't bring in a 7-footer and not start him, right? And then when Alabama gave me the starters, I texted the guy back, Steven Gonzalez, who handles Alabama media relations for basketball, texted Gonzo back, and I said, 2 freshmen? Because Philon and Reed both started that game, Daron Reed and LeBaron Philon. Then come to find out, okay, well, Youngblood, I knew was hurt, but they were holding out Grant Nelson then. They were holding out Reitzel then. So, okay, that's why he's starting. Then he started that second preseason game that we did in Huntsville, and I'm like, all right, this freshman has started 2. Reed, I don't think, started that one. And now he's starting in the regular season. Like, I'm blown away on this roster that a true freshman has played to that level that quickly.
Maybe it was Bill Self that said, hey, we're not going to be able to give you many minutes.
Boy,
and that's a gift for Nate Oates in this program.
I mean, if you're Bill Self and you watch this right now, do you regret that decision?
You know, and most of these guys, they're confident enough that, hey, look, I don't care what you got. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to play.
That's right. Hey, and look, he had 7 rebounds last night. When you have 7 rebounds at his size, that is court savvy, right? He is finding the ball off the board. 8 assists. He's unselfish. He's good with the handle. I'll just say all sorts of things that I don't really know what it means.
But he's always around the ball.
Got a quick twitch.
Yeah.
But he is always around the ball, and he's really deadly shooting. I love his marksmanship.
Yeah. You know what? You were at the game last night. I don't know if you heard this, Lance, but Jimmy Dykes, you know what he said? He said about Philon that he plays that mother-in-law defense.
I know Jimmy Dykes doesn't cuss. Did you hear that last night?
Oh, I did not.
Tom Hart said, well, I do.
I love Tom Hart. He's funny.
So what's mother-in-law defense?
Mother-in-law defense is they're always on top of you. They're always in your business. They're always difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I like that.
See, I've always called it dog and heat defense.
Dog and heat.
Yeah, because that was the Arkansas defense back in the day where it didn't matter. They were up 50, they'd still press you.
Yeah, dog and heat.
You know what, Hart?
You need a hose pipe to get them off of.
Well, you guys have seen Bullet before we got him clipped.
Oh, yeah.
That was his defense on me.
So Jimmy Dykes goes into to that whole description about mother-in-law defense that the Hart said, I thought you were going to tell me he's always nagging the defender. It's really good. Mother-in-law defense, that's what Jimmy Dykes says you get out of LeBaron Philon. Actually, he said that about the whole Alabama team, but he started out talking about Philon.
Yeah. So Alabama gets the win last night, and fun stuff coming up for Alabama and Auburn basketball fans now. Auburn next up is Monday, 8 o'clock ESPNU against Iowa State out in Maui. And then 2 more games after that against, as Bruce calls it, Elite Eight competition. And for Bama, their next game is Tuesday against Houston out in Vegas. And then they get Rutgers, and then maybe another game against a quality opponent there. So 3 good games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. Everybody's got 3 good games next week for Bama and Auburn in basketball. One more football thing to get to about JuJu Lewis after LT tells us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop a week from today.
Yeah, look, and for years now, our man Jim at the New York Butcher Shop, he has bailed people out of the Thanksgiving holiday, people that just don't want to deal with the cooking. Our man Jim, his great staff, they can handle it all. Their turkey's fresh, all natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in all of America. Their turkeys are fresh, but they can't smoke or brine them. They also carry smoked hams, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast. The side dishes prepared in-house will feed 8 to 10. However, they do have smaller sizes that will feed 4 to 6. Don't forget about the desserts like the pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey. Taking reservations now. You've only got a week. Get into one of those 2 locations, Cahaba Heights, Highway 119. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Okay, back to the developing story inside of the Orlovsky interview. JuJu Lewis, 5-star quarterback, 1-time USC commit, 1-time frequent visitor to Auburn, came down to Colorado, Georgia, and Indiana. He picks Colorado and Deion Sanders. LT instantly talks about you're not going to do that unless you think Deion Sanders is going to be back. Orlovsky says Deion doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would let a guy flip to him thinking he's not going to be back. But things can change.
Sure.
And we are in a world where, first off, he hasn't signed yet until December. But even if he does sign with Colorado, we're in a world now that if Deion took, say, the Cowboys job, that he would have 30 days to leave with no problem.
And a lot of interested parties.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
First time I really feel like Deion is going to stay at Colorado.
Is right now.
Yeah, and I think maybe this came into play because, I did mention the player, and I think it was Andre Hawkins that said yesterday, I cannot imagine being in the NFL and being in a locker room where the quarterback is the coach's son. he was like, that dynamic is just not going to work. And so maybe Deion really has processed this. And, Deion's a very spiritual guy. Like, I had God blessed me with the opportunity to coach my son for 3 years at a high level. And I'm going to let him go do his thing. And I'm going to stay here. Colorado gave me an opportunity at this level, and I'm getting paid a lot of money. And I'm doing things people thought I couldn't accomplish. And now he's got, I don't want to call him a project because the guy's obviously super talented, but now you've got your quarterback of the future. There had to have been that discussion behind the scenes that Deion was going to be there for 2, 3, 4 years.
Got his kickstand down.
Yeah,
that's what he told us.
So this is kind of cool. I mean, I like the fact that Deion's just not going to fly and kind of chase his kid around and try to manipulate the NFL draft. And, he ends up being the head coach where Shedeur goes. I think this is, obviously a big win for Colorado.
The question is, not the question, but I guess the criticism, as much as it's a criticism, is like, okay, well, obviously he can win when his son is playing quarterback and when a guy that calls him his second father is their star receiver / defensive back, right? Sure, anybody can win with those guys. What's going to happen when they're going? Well, I think you got part of the answer today. He's still recruiting.
That's right.
And it may not be traditional recruiting. It might not be going the way everybody has done it. But guess who doesn't have to recruit traditionally? Deion Sanders. He doesn't have to recruit traditionally, right? He doesn't have to go pound the pavement the way everybody else does. He's got a gravitas that these kids want to go play for him. And
I find it hard to believe that Colorado can pay what other schools are paying.
And Lance,
like Colorado cannot pay what USC was going to pay this kid.
They're not, but Layman Believer believes this guy has been dropping in ratings at USC, upgraded with Longstreet, who they just got, and Auburn is upgraded with Deuce if they're able to hold on to him.
Well,
both of those guys are better than what JuJu is going to be in some people's belief system.
Could be, but for Colorado, this is still a major get, even if he is the 10th best quarterback coming out of this class.
Yeah, but as a 5-star quarterback, you look at what Deion was able to do with Travis Hunter at Jackson State and at Colorado, high-profile 5-star recruit, and he has nurtured him. And if you're JuJu Lewis's parents, you're like, I can trust Deion Sanders to take care of another Travis Hunter in my son.
But what's crazy is when you now start to look at Deion's coaching record, last year is the outlier. The bad year last year. That's the outlier. He was dominant at Jackson State. He's got his team in a position to make the college football playoff. I can't even say it without laughing.
Yeah.
To make the college football playoff in year 2 at Colorado. That is just astounding.
This is a huge week for Colorado, and guess what?
They're going to lose. I know you think that, but still, I hope it doesn't overshadow what he's done, because
it won't.
To mid-November, to have his team in position to make a college football playoff in year 2, from what he took over at Colorado, I'm not even sure Nick Saban could have done that.
Pritch Law says,
is that just going to wash over you that I just said what I said?
No, I would disagree, but I think he's one of the few.
Alabama was in a better position,
zero doubt,
when Nick Saban took over than Colorado was when Deion.
Zero doubt.
Nick Saban was 6-7 the first year, and then was unbeaten. So he had a steady build to a third-year national championship. But Alabama was further ahead. So if Colorado's in the college football playoff, I think that's faster than what Nick did at Alabama.
And don't hear me make the argument that that Sanders is a better coach than Saban. That's absurd.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Deion had a special skill set that allowed him to build this thing this quickly. And he had a very talented son that was a quarterback. That helped a whole lot.
When I go to my fake account, Brown sucks at Cover Crimson, that's exactly what I'll be saying. Did you hear Brown to say Deion Sanders better coach than Nick Saban? Pritch Law says, is there anything more unreliable nowadays than a verbal commitment?
No, not really.
Yeah. It's not. And even after you sign in December,
that's right,
there are several options you have to leave the school and move on. That's how recruiting's gotten harder and harder. All right, Brownie, tell us again about our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, and how a lot of people watching and listening don't even know about the casino element at mybookie.ag.
They don't. It's right there at the top. When you go to mybookie.ag, you can see the sports book, the live betting, the casino, and the live casino. You can play in those casinos right now. Look, Sportsbook's still good there. You guys have done so much of that there at mybookie.ag. They reached out to us. They're like, we want to reward the people of the next round with the trip to our casino, too. So here's how they're rewarding you as a way of thanking you for joining up there at mybookie.ag the way you guys have done. They're giving you a 300% bonus. 300% bonus on your initial deposit. So they're going to increase your initial deposit by 300% for the casino. That's a casino bonus right there. So you just go play with free money at mybookie.ag. They're also adding in 50 free spins. So they're just giving it away at mybookie.ag. That is when you use code NEXTROUND. Code NEXTROUND, mybookie.ag. Play it right there in the casino. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy, have fun out there.
We continue on the next round. Trash is coming right up. Again tonight, Pittsburgh at Cleveland, 3.5-point favorite. You gotta, I don't want to step on Lance's light.
I do have a side on that.
Got a side on that? Again, that's a crazy stat that Mike Tomlin can have 18 consecutive non-losing seasons. There was that one 8-8, right? That's why you can't say winning seasons. There was 8-8, which now, I mean, there's no 500 season
but
anymore.
Even little Belichick's got a losing season.
Even little Belichick does. Even big Belichick did. But boy, Mike Tomlin does.
Even Sean McVay.
Even Sean McVay's had a losing season.
Well, you lose your quarterback for the season. It is hard to it's hard to navigate through that.
Tell that to Mike McCarthy.
Hey, well, I'll tell you this: Sean McVay, gets to a playoff game with John Wolford, wins a playoff game.
He does. He does. How do y'all feel about the Daniel Jones manipulation of the money there with the Giants?
Part of the business.
Yep. I mean, when you sign those contracts.
Yeah, and look, and you don't perform to the level, and look, I know he doesn't have a ton of talent around him, and you've got mismanagement and losing a guy like Saquon, who ultimately could win an MVP this year. Big game for the Eagles going into SoFi to take on the Rams on Sunday night. But, he still got his money. I think Daniel Jones will end up just backing somebody up. New location next year.
Jack writes in and says, next round, this channel is for boxing or beer drinking. We're all golf and ammunition, Jack.
Both.
Golf, ammunition, and the next round coffee as well.
I do feel like we have told the origin of the next round story like 10 times over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
And
we get asked that a lot.
We brought all that stuff up.
Yep.
That's right. So if you're looking for good ammunition shipped anywhere in the world, Jack, we're your place. The next round right here. Hit us up on social media and give us a thumbs up. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. A little college football, including Coach Kurt Signetti, cut number 8 before we get to trash. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing want to make sure that roof, the most important part of the home, the roof, because it protects everything else, is taken care of. And that's our man, Greg from Pell City, that will give you a free no-cost roof inspection. Absolutely free. Greg and his family will crawl on your roof and inspect it. One shingle is all it takes for a water entry point. One shingle to be out of place, and you got a water entry point. And Greg from Pell City will make sure that you're okay on the roof. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. He repairs storm damage, roof replacements, insurance roofing claims, restoration, inspections, and so much more. Family owned. 205-542-3531. Trusted. So many of our viewers and listeners can tell you Greg's the guy to call. 205-542-3531. Or Greg from Pell City on Facebook for all your roofing needs. Coach Kurt Signetti right here responds to a question about seeing the ceiling grow for what's possible at Indiana. Here we go.
I mean, I think it's all out there. I think any P4 school with the proper commitment is capable of being successful and being ultimately successful. Because, really the difference between victory and defeat in most of these games is very slim, and it's all attainable. So we've put ourselves in a position right now to be talked about quite a bit. That's nice. It doesn't help us prepare, doesn't help us play any better. But, we've got some great opportunities ahead of us. And this is a team that's capable. And the only limitations on this football team would be those we put on ourselves between our ears. But this is a group of guys that do not think that way. And we're going to go in to this next game confident, believing, and we're going to go out there and we're going to play well.
Look, I can't believe I'm saying this. I did a gambling podcast yesterday, and I said that I think Indiana is going to be in this game for 4 quarters because of what they'll be able to do in the trenches. And Ohio State is a dominant defense. Everybody just, when you think Ohio State, you think Ryan Day's offense. Nobody talks about Jim Knowles' defense. They are the number 1 scoring defense in all of football. But when you look at Indiana, they have got a number 3 scoring offense, the number 7 scoring defense. They've outscored their opponents by 30 points per game. I don't care what the schedule it is. Everybody that looked at the schedule before the season circled a win against Indiana.
Yeah, I would tell you that right tackle moved to left tackle because of the injury. Now you're moving your left guard to center. Heinzman moves to center, and here comes the guy off the bench to be your left guard. So now you've got 2 guys who aren't a starter and 2 guys playing out of position on that offensive line. That opens the door for what you're talking about.
Well, look, in Indiana, man, it's a group of unknowns, really. Curtis Rourke is the name that jumps because he was a former MAC Player of the Year and he's the quarterback. But when you look at this defensive line, they are 10th nationally in sacks. Over 3 sacks per game. And now you're going against what is another shuffled, as you mentioned, offensive line without McLaughlin, without Simmons. It just hasn't been the same without Simmons, and now you lose your quarterback at the offensive line. And on the other side, Curtis Warwick has only been sacked 10 times this year. They're giving up less than a sack a game. So veteran quarterback, good offensive line, good defensive line, going against a banged-up offensive line. Such a hyped-up game. Indiana has heard it the entire season, and it's easy for him to say, everybody says you guys ain't worth a shit, that you have played nobody. Well, now you get your opportunity.
When you have 2 injuries, Brown, sometimes you have 2 replacements come in, but at a place like the offensive line, what you now have is 4 guys who were not your starters at that position.
Yeah, 4 guys that are essentially replacements. They may be experienced, but they're playing a new position or, slightly different position.
Not your choice at 4 of the 5 positions. The
one that scares me the most, and it's a sentence you never heard in this state last year, with McLaughlin out, you wonder how dependable the snaps are. And that's what really, really worries you. I mean, bad snap in the wrong spot cost you this game.
Oh, yeah.
Just one bad snap would be all it takes.
And by the way, the SEC, I think it was someone on College Football Reddit said, when did the SEC put out a hit on Indiana? Well, I tried to do it weeks ago because I knew as it was trending, if Indiana kept winning, it would take away an SEC spot in the playoffs. It may be too late, but if you're Tennessee and maybe another SEC team, you better be cheering for the Buckeyes to just boat race them, and it doesn't look like they will.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This is, you guys know I'm a contrarian, and this is one of the few times that you will see me with all of this public money on one side, which is all on Indiana. I don't know how good Ohio State is. I said before the season, I thought they would win the national championship. They possibly still could. Will Howard has been really good. Has he been elite? I don't know. And the offensive line does scare me.
Our update on our bold predictions after trash. Spin the roulette wheel. Which trash open do we have today, Tyler?
Tell me about the whistles. The whistles go woo. When you want to woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Okay, so just to let everybody know, Tyler went to see Gladiator 2 last night. I am planning on taking Jack to see it tonight.
I thought you saw Wicked.
I thought you saw Wicked.
I saw Gladiator 2 on Monday.
Oh,
I saw
okay.
Wicked last night.
Can't keep up with it.
I see a lot of movies.
Yeah, we know that. Yes. But Gladiator 2, out of, let's just go Rotten Tomatoes score, 0 to 100.
Ooh,
bad.
I think the first was like a 90. I would go like 92, 94.
Yeah, I'd say this one's probably between 80 and 85.
Oh, that's still good.
I'll take that.
It's still great, but you're missing Russell Crowe as Maximus, obviously, and you can feel that sort of absence, but it's an awesome movie. The visuals are great. The action sequences were really great.
Brown's going to hate it because the runtime isn't it like 2:30?
Yeah, it's like 2:30.
That's
but
a lie.
You would hate Wicked even more. That one ran 2:40.
And it's a musical.
He'll
right?
watch shitty Georgia Tech and NC State
right,
tonight for 3+ hours.
Yeah,
But boy, I can't go watch this movie.
Can't give you 2.5.
Takes a long time to fill up the Coliseum with water, Brown.
Yeah.
Melton, have you seen Gladiator 2 yet?
I have not. It was a early release slate there for Monday night. It was a surprise screening for Tyler. I didn't know 100% he was going to get it until he started seeing reports. And I am seeing it this afternoon. Okay. So we'll have full coverage on the Meltdown tomorrow with Lance Taylor.
Okay, so before we get into this, Tyler, you didn't know you were – so are there people that actually see more movies in Birmingham than you? Like, are you on like a select list, like the AMC list, and they call you last second for these screenings?
No, nothing like that. If you're an AMC member, you have access to these early access screenings, which is what we did for Wicked last night. And then sometimes they do these events called Screen Unseen, where they give you the rating of a movie and the runtime, and you don't know anything other than that until the movie starts playing.
Well, that's enough to know by now, right?
And it was either, with the runtime on Monday's movie, it was either going to be a musical with Tilda Swinton or Gladiator.
Yeah, I just would have walked out if I would have seen the redhead Tilda Swinton
That
pop up.
is exactly what I was planning.
They could have been filming Wicked in my backyard, and I went to go see that thing. I mean,
by the way, Zach says if you'd go to one less movie a week, you could do a better 4 downs.
Hey, that's kind of true. Wow. Ariana Grande, did they not feed her on the set of Wicked?
No, I saw
She's
a
always
video
been
where
that
she
size.
was eating,
She has not always been that
like,
size.
Just like
She's-
apple slices or a cucumber or something.
No, she's always been really thin, and she was at one point in shape. She
looks unhealthy.
Yeah,
in this movie,
unhealthy.
Yeah.
I hope everything's okay. Our trash?
Prayers up to Ariana.
Always brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You get more information, go to their website, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Speaking of AMC, one of the biggest current trends in the entertainment industry is specialty popcorn buckets for major releases. Now, these buckets, which have dropped for films such as Dune, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and Gladiator 2, all have seemingly tried to one-up each other by making the buckets more elaborate and at the same time more collectible.
I will run and get the Dune one. Have you seen these?
I've seen the Dune one. I have not seen some of the other
ones. We've got the Dune one and the very disturbing Wolverine one.
Oh, there's a Wolverine one in there too, Jim, they say.
Oh, yeah.
It can't be more disturbing than the movie. Again, I laughed almost the entire time because it was so salty and so off-color.
Right.
The popcorn bucket matches. They tried to go for the same sort of joke as Dune, and so it's a Wolverine's mouth, and for some reason they added texture to the tongue. It's so weird.
Interesting.
Anyway, AMC Theaters recently released the official popcorn bucket for The Lord of the Rings. The War of Rohirrim. What is this?
Rohirrim.
That's a popcorn bucket?
Yes.
Well, it does a whole bunch popcorn, it appears.
2-foot-long war hammer where the top of the hammer opens up into a popcorn bucket.
Jim's got the Dune one.
Okay, so if you put, I know the Dune one had that. This is the sandworm. Did you not find the Wolverine?
Truthfully, I don't know what that looks like.
Tim's on his way.
If you put a couple of unopened Coke cans in that thing and swung it at somebody, like I don't know the weight of this thing.
Like if things got out of hand.
Yeah,
in the theater?
this could be a problem.
Yeah, it could be.
So
color me uncomfortable putting my hand through this
to get
my popcorn.
I know.
Yeah.
And then
and how if you put that popcorn butter on there, which I never put the butter anymore.
I mean, melting. This one's kind of crazy too.
Oh, I saw that. I thought if I brought that back in.
Hey, Deadpool's proud with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
So Tyler says fill the tongue. He says the tongue's got some texture to it.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
By the way, see you guys on Monday.
Oh, no.
I love popcorn.
Oh, no. Anyway, this thing's $32.99.
What are we doing, guys?
Yeah,
We're putting our popcorn in these things?
So they tried to make the Dune one look like a sandworm, which it does, but people started making jokes about it, and so...
Well, of course they did.
Ryan Reynolds was like, all right, for the Deadpool bucket, we're just fully embracing that. And
Is
so
it fair to say he was, like, I never liked the Deadpool character. I thought the first movie was entertaining. I missed T.J. Miller in it. But he was so annoying in this one, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I accepted how annoying he was.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd eat popcorn out of that. Just give me a popcorn bucket.
Just give me my bucket.
Yeah, I just want a bucket. And I want the caramel popcorn, too. That's what I want.
A number of Taylor Swift fans have taken to social media to criticize the pricing of a pop star's merchandise, specifically a branded candle. Now, if you are in the market for really good candles, you know candles are not cheap.
Yeah.
If you want a really, really good candle in the house, and look, a really good candle can last you, a good, 10, 15 burns.
So they don't necessarily smell better. They just last longer.
Last longer and smell better.
Okay.
Yeah, everything about it and the weight of the candle, and there's a lot of things going on. But
get what you pay for.
Taylor Swift's website offers a range of products ranging from apparel to a selection of trinkets and collectibles. And while her fans who are dubbed Swifties are known for their devotion to the star, some have complained about the pricing. This is what blows me away. This 8-ounce candle is $50. There are a ton of candles that are $50. People are paying thousands of dollars to see her to see her in concert. But you complain about a $50 candle?
No, I think that's kind of price low. Like with her name on it, I would have guessed more than $50. I mean, you're the dummy buying it. Don't complain about the price.
But you guys know that this isn't like an artisan candle or anything like that. It's the cheapest candle they could make.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it is, but I am not a candle snob, Tyler.
I'm not either, but I wouldn't pay $50
Well, it says
for
per
any
the
candle.
website, the candle features an oud and amber scent, sharing a screenshot of the candle in question, which is part of Swift's holiday collection. One fan wrote on X, quote, I appreciate Taylor's merch, but $50 for an 8-ounce candle is crazy.
Hey,
Another
don't buy
commented,
it.
come on, Taylor Swift, I love you, girl, but this candle is effing ridiculous. Your fans should not be taken advantage of like this. The same fans that are flying to London to see her.
Because it's a cheaper ticket. Hey, I don't get this. This is called supply and demand. Don't buy it.
Yeah, and this one said, look, I don't even like paying $10 for a candle. Well, guess what? Don't pay it.
Don't pay it. Go get another candle.
Like, I was in Winn-Dixie the other night. They got candles.
Yeah.
I don't like paying $10 for a candle, so I'm gonna pay $50 right
I'm going
now.
to bitch about not paying $50. Yeah.
You're making it sound like Taylor Swift's little elves are buying Yankee candles from Winn-Dixie and repackaging them. Is that what's happening?
That's probably what her team's doing.
Hey, underrated store I used to like was Yankee Candle. I just kind of used to like to walk around in there and smell it when my wife was shopping at the mall.
It was so many smells
It
popping,
was,
though.
yeah.
But like Maddie loves some good candles. But that's one of the things. Maybe I'm just getting old, man. I love on Saturdays. It's one of the things I do when I put all my plays on the board.
You burn a candle?
Start the candle. Yep, and it burns all day.
What's your go-to scent?
Yeah.
It just depends. Like there is the Fir FIR candle that burned last weekend.
Smells like a fir tree.
Yeah, we had. Oh my God, we were at dinner at a local Italian restaurant last week with friends, and walking through to the bathroom, smelled the candle. Got to go get this candle. So there's a place in Homewood that sold the candle. Went and got it the next day.
That's dedication to a candle, Lance.
Yeah. I'd like a good smelling candle, man.
Clearly.
Can change the atmosphere.
I like the way you had to say FIR. Like burning hair wouldn't have been a good
burning
smell.
fur is
I
a
don't
bad
know.
idea.
I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow, she burned her poon and people were buying it.
Yeah.
Thousands were upset that they couldn't properly view Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Now,
You don't say.
They want Netflix to pay up. According to TMZ, class action lawsuit has been filed against streaming service on Monday by Florida resident Ronald Denton. Now, the filing, which was made 3 days after the boxing match, claims that in addition to Denton, thousands struggled to watch the fight, as Denton claims around the broadcast 8 p.m. Eastern start time, not even close to being true, viewers were faced with, quote, legendary problems, including no access, streaming glitches, and buffering issues. Now, with Denton suing Netflix for breach of contract and seeking unspecified damages, others on social media complained about the streaming quality, with memes floating around about X. While the Paul and Tyson fight peaked at around 65 million households, along with 38 million concurrent streams, Netflix showed awareness of technical issues in a post-match statement. Quote, this unprecedented scale created by many technical challenges, which the launch team tackled brilliantly by prioritizing stability of the stream for the majority of viewers. This, according to Netflix, one of their CEOs wrote in an internal email to employees per Bloomberg. There were reports multiple people lost their jobs, too.
Yeah. I would imagine. I mean, they were completely unprepared for the group they got, or the crowd they got.
So what is up with the Jake Paul?
Could they not find a better photo of that guy?
Yeah, that's them trying to make him look bad.
That was what Taylor Korn was talking about, I guess.
I guess Little T was right.
It doesn't have it sucked in there.
He's got a whole bucket of KFC.
He does have that, yeah.
By the way, a lot of candles are like $300.
What?
Yeah.
For a candle? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, candles can get expensive.
Holiday Grand, $295.
Where are you looking?
Just on Google, best candles. Himalayan salt and rose water, $190.
I mean,
spiced pumpkin latte from Belus Spa.
Yeah, I mean,
$225.
I mean, just like wine, people will spend a certain amount. Like, I don't have a problem with close to $100 candle, but it's bigger. It's going to burn for a couple of weeks.
Joe Malone London English, $540.
I ain't paying $540 for a candle.
Me either. Joe Malone need to come sing a song for me.
What was Paltrow's? What was her candle? I mean, what did it cost? I think it was a couple of $100.
I think it was reasonable.
I don't know. It sold out, whatever the price point was.
Yep.
And finally, officers with the Upland Police Department responded to an unusual rescue at a hospital on Monday night. At around 9 p.m., officers received a report of a person who had broken through the ceiling tiles in the restroom of an emergency room at a San Antonio Regional Hospital. Now, the man who officers believed to be high on drugs caused $5,000 in damages to the ceiling, electrical, and HVAC system. Surveillance footage showed the man had entered the restroom but did not come out. Quote, due to the extremely confined space, maze of wires, plumbing, HVAC lines, etc., officers had to use a pole camera to look into the ceiling. The man had appeared to be stuck on top of a large HVAC unit and wedged under the steel beam in complete darkness. To make it worse for him, I don't know how in the hell you do this to yourself, he was arrested for felony vandalism.
I mean, I like that we blur his face. That's the only.
Is that his key fob next to him?
No, it looks like a little disposable vape.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It is a vape. Yeah.
He's got a sweet.
At least he's got that with him while he's
that's
stuck
right.
in the
You're
seat.
gonna want
Is
that.
that a sweet serpent tattoo on his right bicep?
Would you want to be stuck face up or face down? in that
Face
situation?
up.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
face
thinking
up.
face down.
Yeah, face down probably for me.
Really? Why?
I don't know.
Face up, you got more space. You don't feel as constrained.
It doesn't
And
look
at
like
least you're laying on your back.
Yeah.
looks like he's stuck breathing right into that thing right above his head.
You think that's probably bad for the respiratory system?
I would imagine, yeah.
And then when the little rats start nibbling your toes,
Oh, Jim. Jim,
stop it.
stop.
Can't sleep. That's trash brought to you by
our friends at Mortgage Right. Is that Todd Jones?
Todd Jones.
Coming in for the close.
Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. There is no cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You get more information by going to their website, mortgageright.com. Call the 280 office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Todd Jones says, Officer Bart, would you please take your shoes off before you get on my shoulders here? Let's just go sock feet.
I mean, I think I'd rather the shoes than sock feet, honestly.
Okay, Hemphill bringing you our final thoughts here, which will be our guarantees from back on Friday, brought to you by Hemphill. Tell us about Hemphill.
205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Bring them up, Forrester, if you can, real quick. These were our guarantees. That is Brownie on top. 5 SEC teams will make the 12-team playoffs. How you
I'm
feeling?
alive.
Still alive. Nebraska beats Iowa and costs the Big Ten a college football playoff
Not going to
team.
happen, but they could beat Iowa.
Dylan Gabriel will win the Heisman.
Yep, I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, in the hunt. Florida will make a bowl game.
You got it.
In the hunt. All Big Ten national championship in the hunt.
In the hunt.
Nebraska will win more games than Oklahoma.
In the hunt.
In the
Still
hunt.
Okay. LT, Bobby Petrino will be the Arkansas head coach in 2025.
No,
in the hunt.
In the hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, in 2025.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
September 29th will decide the group of 5 college football rep. Was that Boise State?
No.
What game was that?
I think it was
Tulane and somebody, right?
Tulane in South Florida, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Texas A&M beats Texas, goes to the college football
Still alive.
playoff. We did good.
Yeah, EG's still going to have the best of all time if hers hits.
Yeah, 2 group of 5s, and we did what?
Laughter off the show. EG, take this serious next year, please.
Please. Bold predictions. All right, we're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.